Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Out of Bounds. Hi, I'm Kungfufruitcup, and you are watching a show here on GDQ that's all about glitches and speedrunning and showcasing them, breaking them down, showing them off, talking about them, etc. It's awesome. It's so much fun. We have a great time here on the show. And tonight I am joined once again by Myth197, who is here to show off part 2. This is our first ever part 2, which is, I'm really excited. Part 2 of Zelda Minish Cap, because we all know Zelda games are super, super broken. This is no exception. And Myth has like such an incredible, intricate knowledge and technical knowledge of what's going on here that we've been able to learn so much. So I'm so excited for this part 2. Hi, Myth. How's it going?
Hi, thanks so much for having me back on. Yeah, there's way too much to show off for just one part. So yeah, thank you so much for having us on a part 2. So yeah, we had a lot of explanations and stuff for stuff that happened in the first part. So if you've seen that, great. If you haven't, I'll try and do very quick explanations of what's going on. But we showed the first 2 dungeons off, and we are starting off in Swamp now.
Yes. So we're going to get to that in just a second. Yeah, just so you know, again, there is a part 1. You can go watch it on the YouTube channel where we have all of our previous episodes. You can check out more about Out of Bounds too. Haha. But you can check out part 1. There's so much good explanation and knowledge in there. Go check that out. It's amazing. And again, yeah, Myth will try to like anything that's really important for what we're going to see in this part 2. Yeah, Myth can like re-explain really quick. Feel free to ask questions as we go along. But otherwise, I know we still have a ton to cover. So I'm going to hand it off to you. Feel free to like talk about what you're doing and then lead us into the game. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Right. Do you want me to do a countdown?
Yes, please. That would be great.
Okay. Right. 3, 2, 1, and go. So, quickly before we start this off, where are we now? We're in Swamp. So when you get to Swamp, normally you try and cross the swamp water, and Eslo's like, we can't cross the swamp water. And then you get sent on the boots quest, so you go and get the Pegasus boots, and you can use the boots to dash across the water. But what if I told you can cross the swamp water without the boots?
Okay, I would love to see that.
Let's have a look. So this was discovered by Toadsloo about 1.5 years ago.
Oh, you get just enough like distance.
Yeah, so we're using some tools here to show off all of the collision and everything. So you can see the collision hitbox on the rope there. We manipulated this rope to come over to here and hit us perfectly so that we get these bomb boosts and stuff and extend across. Yeah, the distance is too far to be able to walk in one go. So there are, in order to do everything that we want in Swamp, we need to cross 4 different stretches of swamp water. So that's the first one. We knew about being able to cross the second part quite a long time ago. I managed to find this about 3 years ago or so. Just a single bomb boost here is just enough to be able to get across this section.
Gotcha. That's cool.
To get across this section.
Like maybe we dropped signal, perhaps? Oh. Just making sure it wasn't just me. Don't worry, we are going to work on that and we'll get back to you all very shortly. Hang on. Oh, wait, here we go. Wait, we're back. Oh, okay. Oh, it was just repeating the stream. I got you. Okay. We are let's see what's going on with Myth here. We're just we'll be right back, you all. This game is so broken that I think it broke the whole stream. So let's go figure that out. We'll get it working. Don't worry. All right, here we are. We're back. I told you we had it. Poor Myth. Your PC. Apparently, we had a blue screen. So
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
But it's okay. It's not your fault. Sometimes technology just decides to be the worst, and we understand that here. Trust me. So yeah, go ahead and count us back down, and then let's get into that second. I think you were talking about how many bomb like swamp hovers like we were getting. Total,
yeah, so there's 4 different stretches of swamp water that we're that we need to be able to cross to be able to get to everything we want in swamp. So we were showing off the first 2, and so I'll do another countdown, right?
Sure.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so this is the second one where we use a bomb to just push us just far enough to be able to cross that bit. This third bit is going to take a lot more work. We need a little friend to help us here. So we're going to grab this pea hat and bring them up here.
Oh, you can bring it up to the second level?
Yeah, so we can use the gust jar to grab pea hats and move them around. All of this is actually flat. There's no layer 1 or layer 2. The only layer 2 stuff is on the bridges, actually. So this little bit of swamp water here is actually solid, so we can stand there. So we can do that bit quite easily without having to, by just walking. And then this last bit's going to be really tricky. I don't think this is human viable whatsoever. It took a lot of work to be able to task this. And we made it to the other side of the swamp water, and now we can shrink and go and get the bow. So yeah, that's all we need to do here in swamp. Really, is just get to this section, go and do a fight, and get the bow.
Yeah, perfect. So that's less of like a glitch per se, and more of like
I mean, it's really not a glitch
unintended.
at all.
Yeah, it's just unintended strategies, which is really cool. And we love to see it here on the show too. So yeah, that was nice. So
it means
I feel like
that low percent now is not the same as any percent. We can skip the boots. But getting the boots is faster for any percent, so it didn't change the any percent speedrun at all. But
gotcha. Okay.
Now we can beat the game with less items. Yeah, then, last time we showed off Ocarina Glitch. So Ocarina Glitch is a glitch where when we're standing in front of a staircase, we press up to walk into the staircase, and a frame later we press the ocarina to activate it, and they cancel each other, and we get put in a glitch state. So we're going to show it off here and see what we can do with it. So we did it on the staircase. One of the properties that the Ocarina Glitch has is that it doesn't update what tile we're stood on correctly. So when we come over and stand on this bit of the bridge here, it updates our layers so that we're on layer 2. And when we step off of the bridge, it doesn't correctly detect that we're stepping off of the bridge and onto layer 1. So it keeps our layer 2 property, and we can just run over the top of all of the collision, and we can use that to go anywhere we want. We can go over the top of all the walls. We can enter the next area by bypassing this big block that is on just beforehand. You can just see it on the left-hand side. There's a block there. We're supposed to go around and collect these 3 golden kinstones and use them to open this next section of the area. We can completely skip that by coming over to here. There's one little thing I want to show off here. This is this was discovered by people by accident during just a casual playthrough, and it's quite interesting. Actually, I'm just going to jump straight to it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So there's this Armos here, and if we manipulate it a little bit, or quite unfortunately, it can sit down whilst we're inside this hole, and now we're stuck. And this is soft lock.
That's a soft lock. Oh my gosh.
I believe TGH in their casual playthrough of the game also did this, which is
Oh no.
so funny. Yeah, this has unfortunately affected some people, and it's just a funny little oversight that you can get stuck here.
Oops. Well.
So
I wonder if anybody's in chat like played through this game and experienced that as well.
maybe.
Yeah, let us know.
Let me just quickly jump over to this other thing here. So, right. When we get the back in the swamp, when we get the bow in the any percent speed run, we need to do an RNG manipulation to get a bunch of kinstones. So I'm just gonna just let it run here. So we when we save and restart the game, it puts the RNG to a known value. So if we do exactly the same inputs, we always get the same result. We're going to get the same kinstones that we need. We use them later on to be able to get the magic boomerang. So we come and cut these bits across, specifically like this, and then timer spin attack at this spot, and we get 4 green kinstones.
Oh, right. Okay, sweet.
So that's just one of the things that we do in the any percent speedrun, not that like a glitch or anything, but immediately after this, we then do one of the newest glitches that kind of redefines what the speedrun is like. So this is called P-Hat Clip. So we would do a save and quit to start another manipulation. This time we're going to be manipulating a P-Hat off screen. So we're going to be coming up over to this spot here where there's a P-Hat there. And I just want to rewind and do that section and just show the perspective of the P-Hat, which we can do with these new tools that we have. So
how new are the tools?
Weeks old. These are not publicly available yet. Haley's been working hard on making these, such as the camera snap to different entities. So I believe
so cool.
I'm gonna have to quickly try and find which one it is. It's not that P-Hat. It's this P-Hat. There we go. Right, so we're going to press play, and we're going to follow this P-Hat. So this RNG manipulation is to get the P-Hat to wander all the way over in this direction, and there it is.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to pull it up here, get rid of that rope so he's not in the way. We can just keep watching this this P-Hat here from the P-Hat's perspective as we push it around. So the aim of what we're doing here is we're going to be putting it into this corner. I'm going to change some of the collision views to make this easier to see what's going on. So currently we're all on layer 1. So this is what the collision looks like. There's a corner, so we're going to be pushing the P-Hat into this corner like this. And
I see. Okay.
When we stand on the bridge, this is the collision that we see. So we go up onto layer 2 when we're up on the bridge. Let me just put a link up here. So link is all of these purple squares and everything is the solid wall collision that we can that is going to stop us. So there's an oversight here. If you look on the right-hand side, there's solid purple squares over the pegs that are on the corners of the bridge on the right. On the bridge here on the left, there isn't one on the top peg. There seems to be this extra one a little bit on the right hand of the lower 2 pegs. So it looks like there's a bit of an oversight where they put collision on the wrong peg here, but it means there's no collision at this top spot, which is perfect for us to be able to put a P-Hat exactly at the right spot here and be able to push us out of bounds. And we just slip through this tiny little corner there. That is.
Oh, okay.
So now Link is still on layer 2. If we put the camera back to Link, it's like we have Ocarina glitch and we've just ignored the layer transition. We're still on layer 2, but it's not. It's it's a slightly weaker version where if we go and stand back on the bridge and like we will get lowered again back to layer 1. So we need to be really important to avoid these like wooden platform sections. These are layer update tiles, and when we stand on them, it will lower us to layer 1 and stop the glitch from working. But so yeah, now we can skip the entirety of Swamp and just go down to this spot here.
We're just gonna hang. Okay, so now we can just pass by everything and get to the...
Yeah, we just
get back on layer 1 for the temple then.
We just go straight to the next dungeon. Well, okay, so we're out of bounds at the moment. We're somewhere slightly to the right of the screen. The screen on this screen is only a vertical screen that goes up and down, so the camera isn't moving to the right to follow Link, but we're on the right-hand side of the screen and we're moving to the right at the moment, and we trigger a screen transition to the next room and then to the last room. Completely out of bounds. There's no collision in the out of bounds at all, so we could just zoom across really quickly like that. And when we're in this room, the dungeon, it looks like there's an entrance here for the dungeon. You don't need to stand on that specific tile to activate the entrance to the dungeon. The entirety of the top edge of the screen is a border transition. So if you touch anywhere on the screen, it will just load you into the dungeon. And that's what we're doing. We're really far off screen, but we're touching the top of the screen, so we load into the dungeon.
Oh, cool.
And that saves like 3 minutes from the speed run. Yeah.
For the any percent?
Yeah, in any percent. We do it in 100% as well, because we can come back and do the stuff that we skip faster later with more items.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Just the traversal part of it. You can like run over top of multiple screens. That's really cool.
So yeah, that's just some out of bounds movement. It's kind of like it's very simple. We just move to the right, count the screen transitions, and go up. It's nothing too difficult to do. The hardest part is definitely the p-hat clip. Getting the p-hat into the right spot and so that we get pushed out by it is extremely difficult and requires a lot of practice to get the setup exactly perfect. It's almost it's pixel precise.
What you just did.
Yeah, with the moving the p-hat into the right spot, it's a pixel precise setup.
Yeah, so I can tell like having that tool to see the borders of that is like really, really helpful. That's
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's really useful to have these views now so that we can see exactly what's going on, because we didn't know for years that there was missing collision there until it was just found through trial and error. Someone was put themselves on layer 2, walked around and was like, oh, hang on, there's no collision here. Maybe we can exploit that. And then they did. Shout outs to Solidified.
Yeah, right? Okay. All right, so now that we're in the dungeon.
Yeah, so now we go to... Oops, that's the wrong one. Is it this one? That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Where's my correct one? Is it that one? There we go. Okay, so when we're in the dungeon, the first thing we do is we come up to this right hand. We go through the dungeon a little bit to. We're supposed to be getting some keys, so we come to the first key that we can get. What we do is we do a save and quit again. This whole section of the game is a lot of saving and quitting to reset the RNG, to do a manipulation, to manipulate enemies and everything. So we're going to be manipulating this Armos here to help us out. So if you notice when the Armos is stationary, there's like a pink square on it, which means that it's like solid collision. When we activate it and wake it up, it's now not solid collision, and we can like walk through it and stuff. So we're going to stand at this spot and bonk, and it's going to come up and stop here, and then turn solid whilst we're inside it.
Oh, okay.
Now, the game wants to push Link out of the current tile that they're in. The first thing it tries to do is it pushes us to the right. So it pushes us into an existing tile because it hasn't calculated it correctly yet. Now, if we try and do any other movement, it's going to then push us out through a different direction, down to the bottom. But if we don't move and we slash, we can now change what direction Link's facing without moving by just holding direction and doing another sword slash. This is called a slash turn. So we're going to slash that direction and we're going to slash facing up. And now we're facing this, there's a pull lever here. What we're supposed to be doing in this section to solve this puzzle is we turn small and activate this Armos that we're currently inside so that we can move out the way and pull the lever to drop a key. We're just going to ignore that. We're going to grab the lever and pull it, and it's going to drop the key.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That saves like 30 seconds.
So that's how fast you have to be to do the slashes, like to the right and then up, basically.
It's pretty precise. You can't really react to it. It's just a muscle memory that you get used to.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So that's the one key that we need to be able to get to the mole mitts later on in the dungeon. And the mole mitts is the one item we need in this dungeon to break it. So we would go through the rest of the dungeon and we would go and get the mole mitts, and then we come back to this room because there's another thing that we want to do in this room. So we come back here and we now have the mole mitts. We're going to do, we did another save and quit to be able to manipulate this Armos in a different way. So we're going to grab this Armos, we're going to aggro him a bit by throwing a bomb at him, and then we're going to roll into this spot here, and exactly the same thing happens. When we're rolling into this spot, he turns solid, and it pushes Link, it tries to push Link down, but because we're on the left-hand side of it, it's like, okay, we'll instead of pushing Link right, we'll push him down, pushes him into this block, and then he's close enough to the left-hand side of this block that it will then push us to the left whilst we're holding to the left, and we like click through.
We've definitely seen a lot of examples in this in the first half, and even a couple already so far today, like where it's just, you're so close to this corner or this ledge or something, like just get something to push you through it.
Yeah.
Keep easy.
This corner here, this is a very special corner. You can see that it's like a pinch corner where there's like two solid tiles on a diagonal and two walkable tiles on the opposite diagonal. We're going to see this many other places throughout the game. So this is like just a pinch corner, and anywhere that we can see that we can turn one of the things solid, we can clip through. This is a very common clip that we're going to be showing throughout the rest of the game. Cool. So now that we are at this part of the dungeon, we want to get to the boss. So we're going to be doing a glitch called portal items. Portal items is, if we recall back to the first the first showcase, I showed a clip called Krenel Clip, where a beetle sits on us and pushes us into a wall and triggers a jump so we can get out of bounds. The reason why that worked is because of a data value in memory called push value. When we push against something, this value counts up to 6. And then when it reaches 6, it will start triggering whatever action you're supposed to be doing in the context. So if we're by a ledge, it'll trigger a jump. And exactly the same thing happens here at this portal. If we slide against a portal, we can get this value 6 so that when we push against the portal, it will jump us up onto the portal. Like, it kind of doesn't care what we're doing when we start pushing against the portal, which I'll demonstrate here. So here, we're going to walk down to this spot. We're going to slide up like this, and Link starts doing the push animation. Let me just get rid of a bunch of this collision stuff so it's easier to see. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. So Link's like sliding against this portal like this, and then we can start using an item. So this instance, we're going to use the mitts. And Link still has this push value stored, and we're currently holding up left. But as soon as we switch our input direction from up left to left, it's going to trigger the jump animation onto the portal. whilst we're still using items, so hence portal items.
Well,
What we do here is we're going to be putting a bomb in this spot here, and if we turn the, I just want to put the hitboxes back. This is the layer 1 collision, so you can see the wall only extends a certain amount. If we try and hop off the portal by holding up here, we get really close to the top of, to bypassing this section of wall. If we land on the wall, we're just going to roll down. But if we go past the wall, we get pushed up onto layer 2. So we're going to try and get pushed up onto layer 2 by timing the bomb explosion here, so that when we jump, we land just about here. Now the bomb explosion is this square here, and as soon as we roll down and touch it, we get damage boosted up just enough to be able to get pushed up onto layer 2, and now we're up here.
And we can walk like anywhere, I assume.
Yeah, there's a boss door right next to us, so this is a boss key skip. We just skipped having to do the second half of the dungeon to get the boss key. There's a lot of fun stuff we can do on layer 2. As I showed in the last one, we can grab objects and pull them from the upper layer. We're still on layer 1, right? We're still on layer 2 right now, so yeah, we can grab items from this layer and stuff like that. So the boss is directly above us, and let's see what happens when we try and walk directly into the boss fight from here. So this is a soft lock. We didn't know for a long time why this happens. And we found out why. So the this is a really technical explanation, but basically all objects on screen occupy blocks in memory. And when we load the boss, this is a special boss that you don't just fight in one go in this room. It has hands that we shrink down and go inside, and then we kill a thing inside. That's a completely different room. And then when we exit that, we load back into this room, and it does the whole room load again. So the game needs to keep track of what stage of the boss fight we're in during a room transition. So there's a special space in memory that it keeps track of this. It just turns out that that spot in memory is occupied by something else in this room.
Oh, weird. Okay.
So the boss thinks that it's at a completely different stage of the fight than it should be.
Oh, that's causing the issue.
And it causes the issue because the boss has to, the first time we enter, it has to be at 0, or it just gets very upset and crashes.
Okay.
But once you've done that first load in once, then, you know, if we could leave, set it to a later start part of the fight, re-enter the room, then the boss is just happy and like, yeah, you've obviously progressed to the last phase of the fight, right? We haven't been able to exploit this yet, but it's a encouraging discovery to make that like this is why this happens. So the way to avoid this is to go to this room instead, because this room doesn't have an object loaded in that spot in memory, which I think the developers made an important note to do that, because this is the room you're supposed to enter the boss fight from. So you can enter like this, and then you can see all of the different parts of the boss here with all the entity views. But then this is just the boss fight normally. Cool. So
okay, I was like, "Are you good? Are we good?"
Yeah. That's all the stuff in Fortress of Winds, really.
Sweet.
It's this portal items trick. So we showed portal items here with. Sorry.
So I'm just saying that like getting to the boss was so fast, by the way. Like I know it took you like, the time to explain everything out, but like you just did that in like what, like a minute or 2 minutes? Maybe?
Yeah, honestly, this we have a split at the community normally splits when we collect the mitts, and then again when we enter the boss fight. This is a sub 1 minute split. Yeah. This dungeon is extremely fast because we do all of these manipulations, and it's a huge difficulty spike in the middle of the run.
Right.
This is all stuff that you build up to eventually, and no beginner is going to do like all of the portal items is relatively straightforward, and you'll do it. But there's things like clipping through the armos that's pretty tricky. You build up to that after you get some experience with this game. But yeah, a lot of people going for top times normally end up resetting somewhere in Swamp or in this dungeon just because it's so difficult here.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah, so the Armos one with the lever is going to be the harder one of the two, rather than like the just pushing you through the corner.
It's surprisingly a little bit easier than the second one. The second one...
Really?
Yeah, the second one is just slightly inconsistent, and, 1 in 6 or 7 tries, it just won't work, and you're like, wait, why?
Thing. Okay.
Cool. So portal items, we showed it with the mitts. What happens if you use different items? Because you can use almost any different item you want. So let's jump over to town, and there's a portal here. Let me get rid of all of the hitboxes in collision because they're not going to be important for this section. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna show off the different things you can do in this section. So here, this port you can just like flip over, and it will turn into a regular portal. So this is exactly the same as like the portal that we saw in other sections of the game.
Right.
So here we're going to use the sword, and you can see that like there's kind of like a weird buggy animation when we do it. We just do a sword slash and it pops up like that. We're going to do the same thing with the cane.
Okay.
And we get like a double cane shot.
Weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. It's something to do with when we do a jump, it's kind of cancelling the current item's action and sort of reinitiating it and doing it again a second time, so it kind of duplicates itself. Which is quite interesting. So there's the boomerang. Boomerang, it's not that crazy. Shield as well, like we can kind of jump up onto the portal with the shield.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just funny how like these animations, it's just like Link just hopping up, but just like very rigid in his like he's obviously not supposed to be jumping because he's supposed to be using an item.
Right.
And yeah, we can use these items while on the portal, and then which you're not supposed to be able to do. But yeah, here if I got the shield out, when I hop off, it doesn't like pull out the shield again. It just like kind of instantly deploys the shield instead of doing the whole like when Link's activating the shield, like he pulls it out slowly like with a little animation, and that kind of gets skipped, which is interesting.
So when you land, it's like you already had it out. Basically. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, here we're going to show the mitts. This one's a little bit different because this pot isn't quite exactly the same as the portal that's kind of made of stone in the previous dungeon. So instead of clanking on it, we're trying to like dig, and we get a different animation play where we get like this. We kind of get like a double dig animation as we like hop off the portal like this.
Cool.
And we can use the boots. The boots is a really fun one. So yeah, let's jump with the boots, and we'll jump off the portal.
Oh.
We jumped off the portal in a different direction, but
And then you just flew.
So yeah, like we start our boots facing left. So the game's like, okay, our boot dashing direction is left. But then when we jump off the portal, we're jumping down, so Link's facing left, but dashing sideways. And there's a lot of weird stuff that happens here with how the game calculates how the bonk's supposed to work. So how the game calculates the bonk is it looks at Link's facing direction and goes, okay, is there a solid tile in front of Link? If there is, then we'll bonk whilst he's doing a boot dash.
Oh, okay.
So it means that we can sideways dash into things and not bonk.
Oh, you keep going.
So we're also when we're doing a boot dash, we can drift. You can hold left if you're dashing directly up, for example. If you hold left or right, you kind of like drift left or drift left or drift right as you're dashing in that direction. So that calculation of are you allowed to drift is kind of based on Link's facing direction again. If you're using the boots and you press the opposite direction to your boot dash, it kind of instantly cancels the boot dash, even if you keep the boots held. That's just one of the quirks of doing the boot dash. So here, we're dashing left, so we should be able to drift up and down, but we can't drift up because if we press up, well, that's the opposite of Link's facing direction down, so it will just cancel the boot dash. So we can only drift down. So we drift down, and then we drift down just enough so that we get like touching the wall, and it's like, oh, there's a wall in front of Link, so make him bonk.
I love how far he just like he's sliding. He's like moonwalking almost.
Yeah. So this is what happens if we jump off the portal. What if we don't jump off the portal with the boots?
Oh.
So we keep holding the boots there, and then we bonk.
Wait. Now suddenly you have the animation off of the. Oh, what?
Link is in a very weird state right now. He can just go through all of these NPCs and stuff. We can't use items like normal, even though we can walk around. If we press R and the item, though, we can.
Oh, but you're still in that state.
Yeah, but we're still in the state. We can press pause to be able to like pause and equip new items and stuff. If we try and leave the area, though, we can't.
So are you soft locked, or can you stop it?
We can do a save and quit, but we can't leave the room through the edge of the screen. There are some transitions that do let you. Things like if you were to trigger a cutscene that then loads a different area or whatever, that works. But most places that we can do this, it ends up being a soft lock. It's also completely useless. We think this has been known for a very long time, over 10 years. We haven't been able to find a single use of this actually being useful at all, mainly because we can't kind of cancel this at any point. One of the really useful things about the Ocarina glitch is all you can do is just play the Ocarina and you've cancelled it and you're back to normal gameplay. So whenever you can activate but then deactivate a glitch, that's great. But unfortunately with this, there's some slight things that it helps us do, like walk through entities. But because we can't cancel it, it just isn't useful.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we're not showing useful things here. We're showing everything.
We're showing everything. We're showing all the cool random stuff as well. We want to see the soft lock. So this is perfect. Everyone just stands there and glows. So like, I know that's so you can like change, like you can change size, but you can't actually do anything about it. Right?
Yeah, if you go close to the portal and try and press R, it doesn't do anything. It won't shrink. Still. Yeah. So
weird.
At the end of the previous one, I showed off a thing called Portal Jump Storage, which seems very similar to Portal items. They are slightly different. Portal items, we're using an item when we jump onto a portal, and it's got nothing to do with Ocarina Glitch. Portal Jump Storage that I showed previously, we get Ocarina Glitch, and then we jump onto a portal. But the portal, when we jump onto a portal, we go to the whatever the most recent portal we've been to, like its coordinates. But if we've not been close to that portal before getting the Ocarina glitch, the time freeze means that we just jump to the default coordinates for the room origin 00, which is somewhere in really top left of the screen. And then we kind of like jump away from the portal, and then we can use items to move around, like using the Gust Jar to recoil boost us back around, and we can store the jump animation for jumping off the portal to get out of bounds and stuff like that.
Okay.
So these are two different things with different explanations, despite involving portals and using items, and it kind of looks the same, but they are very different.
Gotcha.
That won't be the last time we show off the portal jump storage, so we'll be showing a lot more of it later. So yeah,
but in this room, it's not really that useful for anything.
Yeah, we'll show off a couple more items with just regular portal items. So what happens when we use the bow? So this is what I did here is very precise. Normally when you do the portal items with a bow, it's pretty lame. It's like the bow just fires normally, or like how you would expect. This is what I managed to get happen. So
okay.
The game got very confused there and decided that it was going to fire, I don't know how many arrows? What's the arrow count? It's at 90, okay, it's at 93 at the moment. And then it goes to 67? Oh, quick maths.
Things 26? Are even unloading?
Yeah, there's 26 arrows on screen, I think. Wait.
Wow.
Yeah, 20, yeah, I think it's 26. I'm bad at
that would obliterate a boss if you're able to.
Yeah, honestly, it causes lag.
Yes.
Which is hard to do in this game. This game is very well optimized. It doesn't lag in any regular gameplay situation. There's only very specific glitches that we've managed to be able to make it cause lag. And this is one of them. Yeah, it loads so many arrows that it starts unloading, not fully unloading the objects on screen, but stops showing their sprites at least. So let's just slow it down here and show the arrows as they go down. It's literally firing every frame. And yeah, these lots of the things are despawning until the... oh, yeah, that's one of the other things as well. The... when the arrows hit the wall, they are causing a lot of particle effects.
Oh, which is contributing to the lag.
Yeah, this bow I've got is light arrows. So that's why it kind of like took a little bit of time. It kind of got bugged into the animation of fully charging up a light arrow shot and then releasing it. So it's firing 26 light arrows, and when they hit, they make particle effects. And that's making the game very upset.
So then, but then it'll reload and everything's fine after.
Yeah, as soon as it unloads the particle effects, then it just loads everything else back to normal. It's honestly bravo to it for managing to do that. So yeah, this is using the ocarina. You can jump at any point during the ocarina play. So like we can jump at this point here during it, or we can like let it play, and we're jumping right at the end of the thing here just to get like Link doing a weird pose as he's jumping up. Other than that, nothing special with using the ocarina to jump onto the portal. It's just the just a weird sprite. Also, with the light arrows, I think if we just hold on to this and then jump off in a different direction. Okay, it does fire in the correct direction. I'm sure we can get this to go in a different direction. Yeah, here we go. If you jump in the opposite direction, Link's kind of like holding the bow backwards, and then we can release it, but it it fires in the correct direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
This is a...
So
I love how unhappy the game gets with a lot of these.
yeah, those are all of the items that kind of like have funny or weird things happen when you try and do portal items. Some other items like the lantern or the cape, that it doesn't work. You can't do it with them because they're kind of like instantaneous items instead of.
Oh,
I think
okay.
these work because they have kind of like a startup animation where Link gets locked into an animation, but then kind of like cancel out without jumping onto the portal. So,
all right.
here is a here is the roof of the shop in town. Sorry, not the shop, the cafe. By the way, we've gone back to Hyrule Town. We're in the cafe at the moment just to show off some stuff here in town.
Well, we're very small.
Yeah, so we're small. We've gone up into the rafters. So
cute.
Here's the collision view here. Actually, I don't think the collision view is going to be super useful. But yeah, this is not a glitch. This is very much an oversight. So if we come over to this spot here and we jump over to here, we come to this spot here and we walk down, we can walk out of bounds.
Oh, okay.
And this is a completely glitchless way of getting out of bounds because they forgot to put a wall there. So
I love it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's completely like nothing useful to do here. I'm gonna snap the camera to Link so you can see like here we are. There's the Minish that were there, and yeah, we're just wandering around over here.
Oh, and there's like no way to like change it. Like so casually, you could do this. You just won't be able to see where you're going or anything.
Yeah. I'm just doing this so that you can see where Link is. Otherwise, you would normally see this. This is all that you would be able to see. It's just the camera panning side to side as you walk around with Link. But if you can kind of like get back to this spot here and then walk back into bounds. Or you can walk all the way over to the right-hand side of the screen and you can trigger the screen transition and you exit out the room to the right.
Oh, and then you're small up on the rafters. Nice. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. I love it. So as we're transitioning into the next thing, do you want to take a quick break? Make sure everything's good, be ready?
I'm happy for a break here.
Perfect. Oh, okay, but I see we're like right on schedule. Everything's going great. Okay, This is super cool. And did you all know we're going to be at TwitchCon? GDQ is going to be at TwitchCon. It's pretty cool. So before we take a break, just so you know, you can do !GDQX in Twitch chat to find out more. And you can check out the games list, which will be super dope. And then also AGDQ coming up in January. Yay! Volunteer submissions close in like an hour, I think. No, a couple hours. So if you wanted to volunteer for AGDQ, literally this is the last bit of time you have to get those applications in. Yeah, we'll be right back. We have a bunch more to go. This is awesome. Oh, we'll be right back. Alrighty, we are back with more Out of Bounds. Hi, I'm Kungfufruitcup, and I am joined by Myth197. And if you all are just joining us, we have been checking out more of the glitches and explanation for all of that in Zelda Minish Cap. So, Myth, I'm going to hand it back to you. Do the countdown. Take it away. Let's get into more glitches. Let's do it.
All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. So, we have, we're still Minish and we're up in the rafters of, we moved over to the shop in town. So there is a staircase here, which means, we can get Ocarina Glitch. So let's get the Ocarina Glitch here and see what we can do. So from this spot here, if we do a boot dash, we're going to touch the edge of the screen and what happens if we touch the edge of the screen? So we just moved into this room, which if people can recognize by the NPC down there in the background, that's Dr. Left's house. This is a completely different room. This is a completely different building. in town, and this kind of like gives a little bit of a hint as to how the game is structured.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So all rooms that are kind of like similar are actually in the same area, and they're all just stacked up next to each other. So every cave is all just in the same region
Section. Like,
yeah. And all of they're just rooms located like just blocks next to each other, just arranged in like a brick pattern. Yeah, so we got when we're Minish rafters, all of the Minish rafters are in the same area. All the houses in town are all in the same area. Everywhere in the overworld, it's in the same area. Well, some of them are in slightly different areas, but that's basically how it's structured. So despite two rooms not physically being located together in terms of your understanding of where things are located in the game world, behind the scenes, they could be right next to each other. So, yeah, this was done. This isn't done in the speedrun anymore, but this used to be a part of the speedrun where we would skip having to hand in. This is the second book in the book quest. We normally would have to hand the first book into the library to be able to get here, but we can skip that and do this, and then get the last book as well without having to go to the library, and then go in one trip, and it saves a bit of time. And also, we're supposed to get another item to be able to get up to this section, the power bracelets, and we can skip having to get the power bracelets until a little bit later.
You get to this part. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. So we did like a boot dash from this spot to get to this room. We actually had to do like a special pixel alignment because we need to dash far enough into the room so that when we transition, we kind of like get pushed out of this wall like this and kind of like pop out of it. If we don't quite go far enough, we get this thing happen instead. Nope.
You get stuck.
My subpixels were bad. You can get slightly bad subpixels, which makes this slightly different. There we go. Okay.
Oh.
So we got like a double transition because the first transition put us into that room, the doctor left, but we didn't pass far enough in to get into bounds, so we were still out of bounds. And we were touching the screen edge from out of bounds. And that triggers what we call a wraparound transition. So the game thinks that we're touching we got to go back to parallel universes. Shadow Link is touching the actual screen transition. So the game's like, okay, we're touching the right-hand screen transition, so trigger us to the right. And it puts us into the room even further across, to the next room over. And if you can see in the background there, it's the bakery.
I was like, no, everything's gone. And
yeah, so
you're in a different spot.
Yeah, Link is really far out of bounds at the moment. So we had to move really far to the right to be able to find it here. We're still out of bounds at the moment, so if we pause and unpause, this is the bakery roof. Link is currently off screen on the left. Yeah, there's nothing we can do from this spot. This is a soft lock, but it just further shows like some of the weird quirks of how the game's put together. Also, yeah, the sprites for some things in the game that aren't supposed to be visible to the player. The developers put I want to say kanji. I'm sorry, I don't know much Japanese, so they put symbols to represent what things are supposed to be. So yeah, thank you to anyone who does know Japanese to point out what any of these symbols mean. I think someone said in chat that it means wall.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of like little hidden messages like that that they use to help themselves out during development. So Okay, so that was some stuff that we showed off in town. Now let's go over to this spot over here. Let's have a look into portal jump storage more. So this was a glitch that I showed off and did kind of an explanation for at the end of the first part. And I did another brief explanation of what it was before the break. So the whole point of what we're doing here is we're going to get the ocarina glitch off of this staircase here. We're going to come over to this Minish portal here, and we're going to jump onto it before we've gone near it before, and it means that the game is going to jump us. When we try and jump onto the portal, it's not jumping us to the middle of the portal, it's trying to jump us to the room origin coordinates, which are top left-hand corner of the screen, and we jump to here. We're going to cancel the ocarina glitch and start using items to move around. There's a bunch of really cool stuff that we can do, but if we're happy with just that basic explanation of how to get this set up.
Right. So then what's the next step? Like, what item are we starting with?
So there's a ton of cool stuff that we're going to be able to show up here.
Okay.
So we're going to be moving around with the gust jar, which is going to push ourselves over to this spot here. So if you see on the collision, there is a gap above us. So at the top of this ledge, we should be able to jump up to this ledge and jump onto this spot. So when we try and do that, we don't quite get far enough. So we hit the wall and then we roll back down the wall, and we failed to get up there properly. But there's a couple of little tricks that we can use to be able to get up to higher ledges than to be able to jump even further than if we were just try to jumping up normally. So here we're going to use bombs, and we're going to give ourselves a damage boost. So when we use a bomb here, I've got remote bombs, so I can just place it down and activate it whenever I want. Link has been hurt and now has like recoil, but the recoil doesn't activate until Link's finished doing whatever animation he is. So it's kind of like delaying until, and it will deploy the recoil boost at the end of the whatever animation we're currently in. We're in the portal at the moment, so when we jump off, we'll get it activate us. It will activate at the end and push us up the ledge like this.
Okay. Oh,
we managed to get up.
It helps with the boost.
Yeah, we managed to get up to here. One of the downsides to portal jump storage is that you can only use items when you've not been damaged. As soon as you're in this state, the moment that you take damage, you can then no longer use any other items.
You know why?
No, I don't. No. I've not really thought about it too much, but nothing really comes to mind. I haven't thought about it too much. It makes this really tricky. Like when we showed it off in Cave of Flames in the previous showcase, we have to like weave through and navigate through some blade traps that are moving, and if they hit us, it kills the trick. So we need to have like perfect timing if you're trying to do this. Which makes this trick quite difficult to do if there's enemies in the way. Otherwise, like if you're just messing around or exploring, it should be pretty easy to go wherever you want without getting hurt by enemies or anything. So that's the bombs. The other thing we can use to extend our distance is the cape. So if we use the cape, we just used it here. We pressed B and R at the same time. You can, if you kind of listen out, you can hear like a as like Link is starting to do a jump, but it doesn't trigger it in this state, and it kind of again deploys it at the end of whatever animation. It just triggers this jump to actually be even further. This initial jump actually is straight up just further. Link gets higher and goes even further than you would just with a normal jump, which is quite interesting. So so with these two little like tricks, we can get even further distance than we would normally, and be able to get up to higher ledges and stuff than you would if you just use the regular version of this trick.
Gotcha.
There's no real solid applications of this yet, other than the things I showed off in Cave of Flames.
Okay, because I was going to say, if you got into that little bit of pixel area, like, that's just to show off that you can get up there, right? I was like,
yeah,
it doesn't
I'm
look
just
like there's anything
demonstrating
useful.
that's not useful at all. I just wanted to have a spot just to be able to demonstrate that. Like, theoretically, if that's an important spot that we can get to a later section of the game with, that's great. We can, use that to do a skip. We haven't found anything like that yet. We've looked quite thoroughly, so there's anything crazy that we could do with it, but it's really useful information to have anyway, just in case anything happens to change. Again, with this game, so many of the things that we want to be able to do are just stopped by the items we currently have and being able to get to them to be able to do them. If we could get items at any point, we can do so much earlier on in the game that we can't currently do in like an 80% speedrun, because we just lack the items to do it. So any way of getting items early opens up a whole world of new glitches that we're aware of, but which just can't implement yet.
And not yet. I like how you say yet.
Yes, it's always yet. The speedruns are never a monolith that's concrete and forever. They're always changing.
Right, and something that Myth told me, you all, in between, is that there was some stuff that was found in between the last episode of the show with him on and now. So we're going to be learning a little bit about that too. So seriously, runs are always changing and growing. It's amazing. Yeah,
I said shout outs to Solidified Gaming before. She discovered a bunch of stuff: the p-hack clip, the Krenel clip, the angle retention, some other stuff we're going to be showing off. She's been awesome, and over the last 4 years now has just been mainly responsible for everything that has been discovered to break this game and save about 15 minutes from the speedrun. So she saw this the showcase and got inspired to come back and have a look at the game, and discovered something new, which we're going to show a little bit later.
Which is super cool.
Cool. So what else can we do with this portal jump storage? So this was known for quite a while. It was found shortly after the portal jump storage was discovered, but this is just fun. So we're going to jump into this portal. This tornado, and sorry, let me get the stuff off screen so it's clearer what is exactly happening here. We're going to jump here. We're just going to jump into the portal, and Eslo gets quite upset.
That's not right.
No. This is a soft lock. There's no way out of this. I think you can pause. Yeah, you can still pause and save and quit, but other than that, there's no. You can't do anything to break out of this other than saving and quitting.
See, you just don't actually go anywhere. Like, you can't get up there.
Yeah. I think. I don't know exactly for sure, but it's something to do with the game doesn't expect you from being able to go from the portal jump state to the gliding in a tornado state directly. It expects some intermediate state, as in just walking normally. So this is unexpected behavior. So it just gets upset and plays a random animation.
Gotcha. So weird. Okay.
So if we
not useful.
That was just a fun thing. But if we so with the portal jump storage, when I said if we use the cape, we get a little bit extra distance. That's not the only thing the cape lets us do. I'm going to show off this thing called, I don't know if anyone's ever named this before. I like to call it Portal Bounce, because I think it kind of, when you see it, you'll get why it's called a bounce.
Whoa.
So if we hold the cape during the jump, we kind of like hit the ground wherever we are and then get an extra hop with the cape.
It's like a double jump.
Yeah, like a double jump. And normally if we were to just jump here without using the cape, if we just hop off without using the cape like this, we just splash into the water because the game will just detect whatever tile we're on when we land and then just do the calculation. We've got the flippers here, so we're swimming. If we didn't have the flippers, we would drown and respawn at wherever we're supposed to respawn. But with the cape, we can do this anywhere where we could jump onto somewhere like a void tile or anything that's invalid and get some extra distance and be able to get to an extra section. So here's the back of a cave that, there's a heart piece here. This is one of my 100% save files, so I've already collected this heart piece. So this little special quirk that is it's quite obscure lets us get access to even more areas of the game that we wouldn't normally be able to access. This is one of the only situations where I found it could be useful, but not exactly. It's a bit slow to be able to get over to this section. It's to be able to move with Link in the portal state all the way around here. Like if I show this off, like look how slow this is.
It is, yeah, it's getting all the way up there.
It's not fast, so I don't see this being extremely relevant in the case of something like a speedrun. But it's very useful information to know nonetheless.
But you can skip up a little bit, which is cool.
Yeah. So that was something that was like kind of potentially useful. This is a thing that's like completely not useful but is just really cool. So what happens when you jump off? Jump out of the portal jump state whilst you're in the middle of a gust blast. This happens. I have no explanation for this. I'm just gonna let it play.
Oh, it's getting weird. Oh no. Oh, I don't like it. What? What? Is this just gonna...
It's gonna go somewhere eventually. Oh, look, it's some Minish.
What? What?
Yeah, the sprites are not happy. I think that's the Minish Elder.
It's just like loading different... What is happening? Are we just gonna stay here in like this loop now, or?
It will eventually end. It might take some time.
What on earth?
There we go. Cool. And then do we do anything? Yeah, I think it's gonna keep going. Okay. So, it may seem that the game is running like normal again, but if we come and have a look at some of these enemies over here, I think you'll notice that the game is not normal.
So
it's completely messed up all the enemy sprites.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so these are Acro Bandits. They're like the minion-looking guys that they stand on they stack on top of each other like a big pole. So these are Octoroks. These are just regular red Octoroks, and they're using Vati's sprite.
But it's only what? But it's only enemies now?
Yeah, it's the enemies that seem to be completely messed up by this. What? I don't know exactly why. If we go to a different room, the enemies are still broken.
DC seems fine. All your items are fine.
But the golden rope is fine.
That's fine.
And then these Acro Bandits are still broken.
They're so broken.
And these Octoroks again, they're like broken. We come over here, and all of these enemies seem to be fine.
Okay, so it's only certain enemies.
Yeah, my theory is that it's the enemies that were on the screen that you're on, because here's a golden Octo, and then these are just regular Moblins. So I think it's when we were on that screen doing the bugged animation, it broke all of the enemies that are on screen, and the two enemies that are in that area are Octoroks and Acro Bandits, and there's no other enemies, so all of the other enemies are unaffected because they're not loaded in. I don't know exactly what's going on. I don't think it's writing to... I don't know. There's a lot of really technical explanations I could give, but it's all just completely theoretical. I really don't know what's going on with this. And it's only sprites as well. Nothing else is changing. No special properties or anything. It's just the sprites.
Could you just continue the game this way and just have this happen for the rest of the game? Or
yeah.
What?
I mean, I think if you do a save and quit, it will fix everything. So it's not like saving changes to the ROM, which I'm glad it doesn't, because otherwise you'd break your game.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, if you keep playing, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check by loading a completely different region. So that was a completely different area. That's inside the doorway. So okay. So it does when you leave the area. We were just doing room transitions between rooms and staying in the same global area. And as soon as we do an area transition, it does a full flush and fixes everything. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So that's
we're back. That was cool. That was that the most broken thing we've seen? I mean, I think
so. We'll see more broken stuff a bit later.
I'm excited. Okay. Okay, cool.
So that was kind of a really useless thing. This is a little bit more useless. A little bit more useful.
Okay. I mean, you can show off something that's a little bit more useless, but yeah, let's do the useful stuff.
So there's... if we come to the edge of a screen, we're in the portal jump state, we can jump out of bounds. And we are now completely off the right-hand side of the screen. Let's snap the camera to Link and follow him as... yep, there we go. So we jumped off and into the void over here. And yep, we're just going to come over here. And we're going to come over to this spot here, and we're going to screen transition here. And we screen transitioned in Lake. And currently, the position that we... when we touched the right-hand side edge of the screen, but we didn't, Shadow Link did. With the transition to Lake, it keeps track of the height that Link was when they do the screen transition to know which area to load Link into. Because we were really far on the top of the screen, when we load into Lake, we're now at the very top of the screen. But we loaded inside of walls. Like the purple here, the pink here shows that we're inside solid collision, so we would be soft locked right now. But we're touching the top of the screen, which means if we press up, we can trigger a screen transition up into this section here. Where luckily, there's no collision, so we can walk around in this section.
For most of the part, yeah.
So this section here is the north section of Lake, where there's this beanstalk. So this is on one of my 100% save files where I've already done the fusion to make this beanstalk appear. You don't need to do that fusion for this to happen. So if you touch the top of the screen, roughly there.
Oh, you're on it. So it'll be, even if you don't have the beanstalk made, that will still activate this.
It snapped me onto the beanstalk, but that loading zone thing is always there no matter what, even if you have the beanstalk fusion completed or not. So yeah, without doing the fusion for the beanstalk, you can gain access to this beanstalk and climb up to the top of it. If I climb up to the top of the beanstalk, a little bit slow. There we go. There's a. I've already collected this because it's a 100% save file, but there's a heart piece up here. So yeah, you can get this heart piece without having to do the fusion for it. It's not something that we do in the 100% speedrun because it's too slow to do. This started again with the portal jump storage. We had to move really slowly with the gust jar, so it's not really too much time saved from doing that as opposed to just coming here the normal way.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, so there are a lot of open opportunities, sort of stuff you can do if you can just jump off the screen and go wherever you want.
Yeah.
Which seems like it should be really broken, but we really can't find that many places where it's going to be super useful. So
That's a bummer.
We've got a lot of these small isolated things. That was a little bit useful, and back to something completely useless.
Okay, perfect.
So this is if we this is just getting regular Ocarina Glitch. We just get Ocarina Glitch anywhere in the overworld, and then we come over to this section. So this is North Hyrule Field. This is where we get the magic boomerang. We go into each of these trees and there's switches and it makes this ladder appear. What happens if we get Ocarina Glitch and we jump onto the ladder? So there's a...
Oh, wait.
You might notice a theme with this and the gust slide we saw earlier.
Oh. Oh, I was like, are you just able to stand there? No, you're not. It's we're seeing all of
Link is
right.
trying to find the right animation. It's like, no, is it this one? No, that's not climbing on a ladder. Is it this one? No. Hold on, let me get rid of the collision views and stuff. There we go. So yeah, yeah, Link's cycling
Maybe this
through
one again.
different things.
Maybe if I try it again, it'll work this time. Oh my gosh.
I think, is it there? Yeah. So now this is just, and nothing happens from this point on. This is an actual soft lock. There's no more animations, unfortunately. But yeah, that's weird. Again, don't know why. I think it's just trying to find the right animation and just start cycling through different animations that lead to the next one, because it's just reading junk data, and then eventually it just gets to one that's just completely invalid and kind of like gets stuck and just doesn't ever change after that. I'm not too sure. I haven't looked into it in too much detail.
Mm-hmm. It looks like he's like cheering you on right now or something.
So
right.
When we're over there at those trees, as I said, we get the boomerang. The boomerang's a really broken item. There is a reason we get it in the any percent speedrun, and it's not to make fights easier, which is normally what the boomerang does. In all of the 2D Zelda games, it's like, yay, we can get the boomerang, it's going to make things easier because we can stun enemies. The magic boomerang in this is special because there's two boomerangs in Minish Cap, by the way. There's a regular boomerang where you throw it and then it kind of just flies on its own and comes back to Link. But the magic boomerang, if we hold the button down, we can control it and like control it midair. In order to be able to do that, the game developers made it so when you're holding the boomerang button whilst the boomerang's midair, it locks Link in place and stops him from walking, because it would be confusing if you're like trying to control the boomerang and like Link's moving at the same time. So they kind of did that in a not great way, and it means that it's when you're holding the boomerang button while the boomerang's midair, it stops other things from being able to change what Link's doing. So
Okay.
here's a little demonstration of what happens when you do it whilst you're trying to glide, or specifically when you cancel a glide. So if we throw the boomerang and go into a portal, into a tornado glide with Eslo, we can press R at any point to cancel it. If we do it whilst holding onto the boomerang, Link kind of keeps hovering.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, so because we're holding the A button now, so with the boomerang, it doesn't let Link drop, and keeps him on moving in whatever his initial direction is, but it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't trigger the full animation until the boomerang returns to Link, and then it stops doing that behavior of blocking Link from doing stuff. So we can get a little bit of distance there, but it's not like super useful. Now, we're playing on the Japanese version of the game. If we play on the European version's an earlier build of the game because they had almost exactly the same release date. They were both in the second week of November in 2004. But the European version had to be printed way earlier to get shipped overseas from Japan to Europe. So it was an earlier build of the game. It has more bugs.
I feel like usually it's the opposite is the case. Like, or again, the Japanese version is just released first. So it tends to be like the 1.0 of the game. And then they send out like the PAL or US versions for 1.1, etc.
Yeah, the release date for Minish Cap was kind of determined a lot by the release date for the DS. So the DS was going to be releasing way later in Europe than it was in Japan and North America. So as a business strategy, they tried to release Minish Cap in Europe before the DS came out as like a one last gasp for the GBA. And it's like, it was like one of the best games on the Game Boy Advance. Not biased. It came out before the DS in Europe, which is kind of why there's a huge European speedrunning community for this game, and not that many people in North America.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
got it.
But anyway, that sidetrack out the way. The European version has a bug where if you use the lantern and the boomerang at the same time, the boomerang doesn't spawn correctly and instead spawns at coordinate 00. Which is really far off screen up at the top left-hand corner. And then it has to fly back to Link. And normally that takes like 30 seconds to a minute. So you can be gliding for a really long time waiting for the boomerang to come back to you in the European version. I don't have the European version with save states to be able to show this off. But that's just the explanation that I can give for this. You can do this a lot further on the European version, but other than that, the European version doesn't offer any extra like breaks by doing this. We call that like a boomerang stall, and that's going to be really useful in the next dungeon.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Oh, okay. So right. Wait, I thought you said we were going back to. Anyway, it's useful.
Oh,
okay, good.
Sorry. We're going. We're going to get back to town. There's one last thing I want to show off in town before we go over to Lake. So there's these. There's this Goron merchant, and when we talk to him, we can buy kinstones. So this one's worth 50. This one's worth 200. And this one's worth 300. If we use the ocarina and then grab this just as we get grabbed, it's now worth 300. And when we buy it, the kinstone is like all sparkly like that. It's like a weird broken sprite.
So glowy.
I showed the kinstone bag just before this, but if we open it up, we haven't received a kinstone. Nothing got added to our kinstone bag. I think we got scammed there. So now we're going to use the lantern to buy this kinstone. So we're going to buy it. We used the lantern as we picked up the kinstone. And so we paid for the kinstone. Also, the kinstone's not going to the right spots. It's like Link's supposed to hold it above his head, but it's kind of off to the side. So we're gonna buy this kinstone, and it's kind of does a buggy animation. But if we open the kinstone bag, we still don't have the kinstones. Like this Goron merchant's scamming us here. And we're actually paying him as well. Like the money is going down. So what happens if we buy the last one normally? Oh, look, there's the other kinstones. They're back.
And they're not in the right spot.
Yeah, they
now
they went to whatever spot they got moved to when Link tried to pick them up.
Weird. Okay.
And if we open the kinstone bag, he finally gave us the kinstones. They got added to our inventory as well. So yeah, he was kind in the end and didn't scam us.
Glad we have it back.
So
is that a helpful thing, or is it just like another weird?
That's just a weird thing. I don't know why that happens. I just it's a cool. There's a magic trick. It's like, where's the kinstone? It's not here. It's gone.
Right. Exactly. Where did it go?
Is this correct? Sorry, just give me a
around.
sec.
No worries.
Did I open the wrong thing? I think I did. There we go. Okay. So one of the things that's really useful in the 100% speedrun is getting a lot of kinstones. Because there's 100 fusions we need to do. And it takes a lot of time to be able to get each and every individual kinstone. So what we like to do in the 100% speedrun is we get the Ocarina glitch. And then we come over to this spot in the overworld. And we come into this cave. This cave you're supposed to gain access to after you do a fusion. There's a, if I show here, there's this cave over the water, which we can use the mitts to dig into with the Ocarina glitch, because we can walk over water with the Ocarina glitch. And then we're going to come over to this cave, and we're going to go into here. This is going to be useful for just resetting where our safe coordinates are. Because we left and re-entered the room, currently none of the tiles we were stood on are considered safe tiles. So the game is thinking that our last safe coordinate was in a completely different place. Whereabouts exactly? Really far off screen. We can then use the... we have a bottle of Picolite, which is it's just like a special charm. You drink it and it makes kinstones drop with a higher drop rate than normal. And we're currently somewhere off screen by some bushes. I'm going to start slashing the bushes. And we're just picking up kinstones now from this bush.
Gosh.
One of the things with bushes when they're off screen is that they don't unload. So it's just permanently there. I'm going to try and snap the camera to Link so that we can see what's going on.
I was going to say, how many did you get?
Normally we'd stay there for a couple minutes in the speedrun, and we just count to like I think we count to about 60. And we're just, and then we check our kinstone bag to see how many kinstones we got, and then we have to try and figure out, oh, we've got this many greens, this many reds, this many blues. We have to route on the fly to figure out, is this the amount we need to be able to finish the run? So it's quite a lot of work in advance. I've got the camera snapped to Link. It's a little bit buggy. It doesn't exactly want to show where we are correctly, but if we go back to the main game, so this is like back in the original room, we can see there's like a shadow Link. So we're in a parallel universe of the current room. And if I can show where we are, if we go somewhere up here, I am somewhere. There we go. Okay, I'm very lost where I am at the moment. Can we get out of bounds here? Oh no. Okay. So basically the area that we are is here. This is where we were. So we kind of like respawned in a parallel version of this room, and we were slashing this bush over and over again. And this bush, when it's on screen, it breaks, but when it's in the parallel universe, it doesn't break because this bush isn't be broken.
But you just get like infinite kinstones from it?
You can basically get infinite kinstones. The Piccolite's got a timer on it, so we're trying to get as many kinstones as we can in the meantime. And then we kind of walked up here, and then this is where our shadow was. We were showing it off. So yeah, that's what we do in the 100% speed run. We get the we farm there for a few minutes, and we get all the kinstones we need for the rest of the run. And then we just walk to the right, and then we transition into town, because the parallel universe version we're in the same same room, so the same transition will work. If I can show the we just do a little quick fast forward. I believe I show off where we actually are. I think I open up the... Do I not? Okay. I open up the map. This is where the game thinks Link is, his coordinates. It's up here in the top of the panel. This is the room that we're supposed to be in. So we should be somewhere located around here. But instead we're all the way up there. So that just shows, like, in real terms, like how far we've been moved out of bounds.
Okay.
So a couple more things when we are in the overworld. We're going to show off. Here in the lake, all we've done is we've got the ocarina glitch, and we're going to combine two glitches we've seen before that involves items and portals. So we're going to do portal items with the mitts on the portal, but whilst we've got the ocarina glitch to kind of like get a weird merge between portal jump storage and portal items. I'm just going to let this play, and you can see what happens.
Do more of this.
Yeah.
We're just hanging out.
Yeah. So we're now in we're in the portal jump storage state. We're going to use the shield and gust jar as well to do the movement and stuff. We're going to get close to this portal here. We're going to get close to the Temple of Droplets entrance. We're going to press R right on the edge of it. When we're right on the edge, we get this bugged animation where Link's like a big square.
Oh.
So yeah, that we call that pog slide. That trick.
Oh.
So this is the spot that I showed we got the ocarina glitch from.
Oh, that's right.
So
okay.
We die on this as we open the doorway. We die on the same frame. It means the door's open, so we can get the ocarina glitch off of it. So if I come over to here and use the ocarina when we jump onto the portal. So that was again a pog slide, but we use the ocarina when we did that. We're still in the portal jump storage state, and we're going to be running around here. So if I just like do a little bit of a fast forward here so that we can just zoom ourselves along. We're going to come to this spot here, and then we're going to jump out of bounds off the top of the screen. So we're currently off the top of the screen. We're going to transition left, and we're going to exit Lake, and we're now in Lon Lon Ranch. We're going to exit down, and this is going to happen. So we're currently off, like, we're really far out of bounds, but like we're getting like duplicate collision of what's...
It's like little faces.
Yeah, the sprites
flashing
are
lights
so
warning.
bugged.
Flashing lights warning.
Oh yeah, sorry, flashing lights for anyone. We're coming down to this room at the very bottom of the world, and we just jumped onto another portal. So we're gonna do another portal jump
What?
storage. Because we're so far away from that other portal, again, we can use items without shrinking at them accidentally. We're gonna jump from the out of bounds state to another out of bounds area. So this screen is out of bounds, and we're out of bounds on the out of bounds screen. We're getting out of bounds section going on here. And we do a screen transition up to this spot here, and we are somewhere in North Hyrule Field, but we're right on the edge of a screen transition, and then we press the screen transition, we're in town. We're back in bounds. So that was just a little fun adventure we went going through multiple out of bounds.
That was quite a visual adventure.
Yeah.
Holy moly. That was really cool. Okay, you're right. We did see something more broken. I was saving that moment. Sorry, I just really clipped that.
Cool, and I think all of the stuff is going to be in the rest of the dungeon. Yeah, we're going to actually let's load up. No, sorry. Let me just load that back up, and then we'll show that thing off. Here we go.
Okay.
So we're in the next dungeon. We're in Temple of Droplets, a water dungeon. We are going to we're going to show off a little bit of an out of bounds here. So if I pull up the collision view, you can see that there's if I show off the layer 2 collision, we're currently on layer 2 at the moment. Let me get rid of layer 1 collision because we don't need to see that. You can see there's a gap at the waterfall. So let's move the lily pad over to this gap. And then we're going to jump with the cape at this spot, and we're out of bounds.
That was easy. Oh my gosh.
So from this spot, yeah, we're like completely out of bounds now. We can go over to the right here and load into where the boss room is. I've already beaten this dungeons, but like it would load into the boss fight if we just went to the right there.
Would the whole fight load for you and you can do it normally?
Yeah, the fight
or what?
would load like normal when you would spawn at the start of the room and just do the fight normally.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, the only downside is we had to use the cape to be able to do that. So what happens? That was one of the things, the out of bounds clips that we can do at this spot. There's another one. So remember how I said with the boomerang, we can kind of like stall our movement if we hold the boomerang whilst it's midair. So we're going to put the bomb down. We're going to throw the boomerang. And now we're going to do a thing called a down strike where we jump. This is one of the sword abilities. We can jump and then press the sword midair and like slam the ground. Whilst we're doing that, we're going to activate the bomb to damage boost us whilst holding the boomerang. So the boomerang prevents us from like touching onto this tile to start climbing the rock wall, and the damage recoil pushes us far enough out of bounds that again we're out of bounds, and we can do exactly the same thing. But this requires even more items because you need magic boomerang, you need down strike, and the cape, and everything. So.
What's next?
What next? I
love how fast. So that was also really quick.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That just requires backtracking though, so it's like not something extremely useful. This is like just the setup that we use to be able to die frame perfectly. On here, so we're back in like we're getting Ocarina glitch. What happens if we use a bottle? I showed this originally in part 1, but we can do if we do exactly the same inputs that we do for Ocarina glitch, but we use a bottle instead. Actually, no, sorry, I'm not showing that. Here, I'm just getting the Ocarina glitch, and then I'm just going to run over to this bit of water whilst the Ocarina glitch is still like initiating, and then I'm going to grab some water, and Link can now just we quickly triggered dump animation, and it now resets every time we try and dump the water out by wiggling the directions. Every time we change direction, it was reinitializing the dumping animation, so we could just chain that together. Oh, sorry, the hitbox is a little bit buggy there, so let me just turn that off. Yeah, so this is if we activate the bottle when we, in the same conditions that we were trying to do the ocarina glitch. So we have two things activated. We have the ocarina glitch, we've got the bottle glitch activated.
Oh.
What happens if we go over to so we're going to be pushing against this portal for this thing that I discovered early this year called it's called bottle storage. When we slid against that portal, it kind of like stored the swinging animation for swinging the bottle. But we were right by some water, so it triggers the it's like, okay, Link is going to be picking up some water, but it hasn't done it yet, and it's going to be stored until we trigger it in some way. So we're going to trigger it by here, or we're going to, oh yeah, as you can see, we can like walk into the heart piece and not pick it up. We're going to do a boot dash into this tree.
What? Okay. So bottle, sure.
When we bonked the tree, it triggered the get animation for the
water.
Oh. And then when we close the text box, then it does the rest of the everything.
Interesting. Like, okay, there you go.
So that's not the only thing that you can do with the... it's not just bonking. Loads of things will do this. So going into a doorway will also trigger the bottle. You can use most items. So like there we just grabbed with the... all we did was press R to do like a grabbing animation, and that did that. You can use basically any item you want here, and it will do it. If we use the sword or something, it will, it will trigger the action for doing that. There's nothing super special with any of the items that we use in this. There's some other applications in some other situations that we'll get into, though. So if we dig this digging cave in the middle of lake, and then we go and activate the same glitch and come into the screen transition, it will do exactly the same thing, and then like kind of like play it during the transition.
Oh, weird!
It's a weird one. If we do it whilst we're on the portal, we hold the bottle up as we're doing the transition to enter Templar droplets. So this is the dungeon entrance. Yeah. So that's bottle storage. We'll show a little bit more bottle storage later on in this dungeon. I want to give an audio warning for anyone with headphones. We're going to be doing the bottle glitch. We don't have Ocarina glitch at the moment. This is just one of the sections of the dungeon. All we have is just a regular bottle of water, and we activate the bottle glitch on the doorway by doing the Ocarina glitch inputs. We're going to come over to these blocks, and we're going to push them, and something happens when we're in this state and we push objects. It does a rapid fire dumping of the bottle. I guess it's not that loud, but yeah.
Yeah, that was fine for me.
So, yeah, that's just like a fun quirk of what we can do with this bottle glitch. So the we went into a lot about how the boomerang is quite busted. And there's a reason why we get it in the any percent speedrun. And it's specifically for this spot. We went and got the boss key there. And if we come over to this... oh, wait, no, sorry. We're not showing that off just yet. This is just... We just got Ocarina Glitch like normal. In one of the other rooms, there's a staircase that we can just get the Ocarina Glitch off. And then if we walk up to here, you can see that there's layer 1 collision and then layer 2 collision. So now when we walk up and down the staircase, we get out of bounds with the Ocarina Glitch. We can do some other, we can do some things, like we can just skip the boss door. So we didn't need to go and get the boss key to be able to come over to this section of the dungeon. And then you can continue the dungeon like normal if you wish. But we come here without the flippers. Normally you would have to go and swim through a section of the dungeon, which we can't do because we don't have the flippers. So we're going to do this thing called a boss door clip. This involves using the boomerang. So we come here with the Ocarina Glitch. I'm going to be doing a bit of a funky setup here. So like all of the movement and stuff here is just to set subpixels because it's quite a precise thing to get to the spot that we need. But the important thing here is we're going to open the boss door and we're going to be holding the boomerang after we've thrown the boomerang. So we do it triggers the transition, but it doesn't trigger the transition. It just does the animation. So it walks Link off screen, and Link is currently off screen. Let's have a look at where Link is. So Link moved down to this spot here. He's going to wait for the boomerang to get back to him. Then we're going to do this some movement here. Okay. And I have to snap the camera back to normal because the screen transitions don't work correctly if I don't have the camera in the normal position. So I'm just going to put it back here. But we saw where Link was and we just moved to the side and we hit a screen transition to this spot here. And it's gonna land us inside this wall, and it's gonna try and make Link roll down the wall. But we were just high enough up that we kind of get pushed back up to the top here. So now we got pushed above this purple wall. Instead of rolling down, we're just up the top here. So we do some little screen transitions like that, and then we skipped the first half of the dungeon. And then we can do this is to activate the blue warp, which is the halfway point for the dungeon. Like that's just showing what's like happening off screen and a little explanation to what the screens, what's happening with all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. After we do that, we come down into the basement of the dungeon, and
looking at all these hitboxes for like the levels.
Yeah, so there's like a little tunnel there, by the way. Yeah, just to see, there's like a little tunnel there on layer 1. So you can see like where the walls of all of that stuff is. But if I just put layer 2 collision on, so you can see we're up here on like layer 2 above everything. We're going to get the Ocarina Glitch. And you can, in this basement section of the dungeon, getting the Ocarina Glitch here means that you can just skip the entirety of the second half of the dungeon and go to the last switch that activates the boss fight, so that you can then go to the boss. But this is the dark room section of the dungeon, so there's a dark maze. But that room that we just went into had a weird light quirk with it, and we found that if you go into that room and then come over to the dark maze, the light's inverted. There's supposed to be a little visible circle around Link, and then the rest of the room is supposed to be dark. But that's not the case, and it's inverted for some reason. So there's like a little dark spot around Link, and the rest of the room is light. Mm-hmm. And we're still on layer 2, so we're just going to run around over the top of everything.
Little circle, it's so funny.
And then we go back to a normal room, and then the light's fixed again.
Suddenly it's fine.
So, just showing a little bit more, we're going to go over to do more stuff with the bottle storage that I mentioned before. So we used a bottle glitch on the doorway. When we touch a lily pad, it lowers our layer to match where the lily pad is. So it snaps us down to layer 1. But we still have the Ocarina Glitch active. So we can still walk on all of the walls and everything. But now we can actually interact with all of this stuff. So we're going to push against it. These these pots, and pushing against those pots is going to make the bottle storage activate, and we now have bottle storage saved so that we can walk in. We can go up to things and we can start doing the bottle storage glitch again. So we're going to trigger the bottle storage to give us the bottle when we open the chest. So we get 2 items at the same time. We do actually get this rupee, despite it saying that this text does say that we got a bottle of water.
Okay, that's fine. It counts. That's good enough.
But yeah, we do.
You're getting the right thing, right?
It still gives us the kinstone. Sorry, not the kinstone. Right. The rupee.
The rupee.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different things that we can do to activate the trigger for the bottle. Like stepping on a switch, that will do it. We don't just need to step on the switch though. There's that was like a circular switch. This is like a square switch. The square one's permanent. You press it once and it stays down. The circular one, you need to do a puzzle and put the block to stay on there to keep it held down. But if we like push a block here onto the switch, that will also trigger the thing. It's not just us stepping onto the switch. If we exit this room on layer 1, there's an Eslo trigger here, right outside this doorway. We're going to walk into it. Or are we not? Oh. Is it going to... Hold on. I think I need to walk right. There we go. So we walk into the Eslo trigger and we get the bottle given to us.
Okay. There it is.
There's a couple more instances of this. We're going to walk into a staircase. That's also going to do exactly the same thing. It's just going to give us the thing. If we exit this room the normal way and re-enter, it assumes that you've completed the puzzle because you've left through this entrance. So again, it's going to give us the bottle because it triggered the puzzle being completed.
Mm-hmm.
And one last thing, we're going to show off what happens when we use the lantern. So yeah, let's just show off the when we're using the lantern, we get a weird it's a completely different set of animations happening. So like there's a bunch of like sword slashing and stuff going on as well. Like this is the lantern's still there, so we can still melt that, and like we get the bottle invulnerability glitch at the same time as well, and we can still do the other stuff. So it's a bunch of just really weird visual quirks that are going on there, but nothing super useful. And this is something that I discovered not too long ago, and didn't really find any major uses out of it. It was just all like visual stuff that's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. Interesting. Sorry, I'm just thinking about the lily pads. It's interesting that like those specifically mess with Link's lair. Just like touching those.
Yeah.
Something that will like fix it. Because I know that like stairs will do that, but lily pads, I guess I just didn't expect to have.
Yeah, lily pads are very janky with how they work because I showed this in part 1, but there's a trick called lily clip where we can like trigger a screen transition and neither Link or the lily pad will move just because of how it does its like it does all of the checks.
Right.
And we can do exactly the same thing here that we did in Deepwood Shrine. Yeah, the lily pad is very broken. There's a ton of lily clips that we can do here in this dungeon.
Right.
So we're going to do it at this spot here, and from this out of bounds position, we can do some out of bounds movement, and we end up here. This is at the very end of the dark maze, at the very end of the dungeon. We literally just go up a staircase, and then we can activate the last switch to activate the boss. Getting the lily pad over to that spot is a little bit slower than going the what we do in the speedrun with the ocarina glitch and just running out of bounds over the top of everything. Pushing the lily pad along is a little bit slow.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we can do in the basement.
Before we get to the next section then, just so we have a good solid chunk of this of time after. Why don't we take like our second break?
That sounds great.
Get up and stretch, and then come back for the last section. Sound good?
Yep, that sounds great.
Perfect. Okay, awesome. You all, I hope you're enjoying yourselves. This is super cool. I mean, as always, I adore hosting the show because there's always so much to learn and see, and this is no exception. So, don't worry, we'll be back very shortly. Feel free to check out, like, just put on the previous episode if you didn't see it. You can go put it on the side on YouTube, watch it for a couple minutes, come back. We will be back for the last section of this. We still have the end of the game to see, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Okay, we are back for the last section of Zelda Minish Cap here on Out of Bounds. Hi, I'm Kungfufruitcup. In case you're just joining us, Myth197 has been showing off the glitches in Zelda Minish Cap, and this is like our part 2. It's been awesome. You got to check it out. You got to check out the first part as well on the YouTube channel. But we are wrapping up in this dungeon. I know we have some more cool stuff in the overworld. We have like the last area. Myth, back to you. Take it away. Count us down. Let's do it.
Cool. 3, 2, 1, go. So, we've been showing off some stuff with the lily pad in Temple of Droplets. So, let's have a look at what's going on here. So, this is a really special bit of the terrain. So, this is like the only section of the game where you can be using a lily pad to be able to transition across some water, but there's also a solid bit of ground right next to it. So we can do some broken stuff here. So we're going to move the lily pad to this spot so it's poking through a little bit, and there's a little bit of the lily pad poking through on the other side, so we can come and stand on it. And when we stand on it and use the gust jar, we can push the lily pad, and it completely breaks and triggers the screen transition, and we can do some out of bounds movement. And with this out of bounds movement, we can get to stuff like this room, which is the mini boss for the blue chew fight. So we can get the lantern, which is super useful to be able to just like skip over half the dungeon by just doing that one thing. But that's not the only thing we can do from this spot, because we can get out of bounds. We can, from this same spot over here, if we go straight down, we're in the Octo fight. So,
wow. And we're already there.
Yeah, that's that's basically the 2 important things of this dungeon that we want to get to.
Nice.
Potentially 3 is the blue tube, the Octo fight, and then the blue warp in the that's kind of like the midway point. And as well, we can also get to the blue warp by doing this gust jar use. We're currently off screen at the moment. We're just dashing over. We're rolling over to the right. I'm going to trigger a screen transition. All of this is just like rolls that you have to kind of like remember as you're moving out of bounds. But we moved really far to the right, and then we moved up a bunch. We're going to screen transition in, and we're at the blue warp room. So from that one spot with the lily pad, we can go to all of the major places of the dungeon that we want to, which is really useful. The one downside is that in order to get to that spot with the lily pad, you need the flippers.
Mm-hmm.
So in the 100% speedrun, we can make use of this lily clip to be able to get to sections of the dungeon early. But in the 80% speedrun, it's just too slow to go and get the flippers, so we get the magic boomerang instead because it's a little bit faster, and then we do the thing that I showed off just before the break. So, I believe there is now one last thing to show off in this dungeon. This is Octoclip. This is the most recent thing that has been implemented into the 80% speedrun. It's extremely difficult and frame perfect, and I didn't want to show it off at the GDQ marathon just because it's not very marathon safe, but we'll walk through it here to show what's going on with it. So in this main room in Temple of Droplets, we have the we have this room. So normally you hit both the switches and it melts all of the ice in this room, and you can then go through this entrance at the bottom to go straight to the Octo fight.
Right.
So this is what the wall collision looks like. And I hope you can recognize what this what's going on in this corner here, the left leg of Octo. There's a pinch corner there. So we can clip through this corner. So how are we going to do that? It's going to be a combination of a couple things. So there are these pots over on the left-hand side. These are flying pots. They're flying trap pots. They're going to fly at us. And we're currently on a quarter heart, so when they hit us, they're going to kill us. We're going to get them to kill us the moment that we start pushing this pot to the right. So you saw the pot was solid, and then as soon as we trigger the animation to start pushing it, it becomes non-solid anymore. So now we can walk through it. Unfortunately, because we're on ice, and also because of if we turn on the hitbox view as well, the hitbox for the, there we go. The hitbox for the pot still exists as it's going to be pushing. So like Link's going to be dying here. He's going to do this spinning and like dying animation. That red box around the pot means that we can't just like walk through the pot. So if we try and walk to the right here, we kind of like keep getting bonked against it a little bit. But here's where the other pot is coming into play, because there's two pots, the two flying pots. So we're going to equip the shield and the ocarina. With the shield, if we use the shield and get recoil and press the ocarina 1 frame after, we get what we call an ocarina boost, where we store the recoil of the shield being hit and freeze time and play the ocarina and slide, like this.
Oh.
We, luckily, it completely ignores things like hitboxes and updating tiles when we do this. So we can slip right past the pot onto the other side of it. Now, that section here, this using the shield and using the ocarina is frame perfect. And it is just out of the blue, you just need to press the inputs. There's no special timing setup or anything that you can do to get that to be more consistent. So that's extremely difficult to do in a run. But yeah, we're on the right hand side of the pot, so we just roll and we get pushed in through by the pot and we get to the Octo fight. Currently the world record does this. It gets a first try, and if you get it first try, it saves 3 minutes, and every time you fail it, it loses a minute.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's also a completely different route. We have to do a bunch of stuff before the dungeon as well. Like, it's not something that, I'll just give this a random YOLO attempt to try and save a bad run. You have to set up quite in advance to make everything work out for this to be viable. So it's quite a lot of dedication to be able to do this. I've only ever done one run of this route, and I happened to get it first try. And I took that and I'm like, cool, that's enough for me. And that's what my current PB is at the moment. I'm not brave enough to try and beat it.
Gotcha. Ooh, because of all the setup.
Yeah. It's a brutal trick. This is an hour and 5 minutes into the run. Wow. It's not fun to reset. Yeah,
exactly. And it's so specific. Kind of like you're saying, like the section earlier, like one of the first sections you showed on this show, like on this episode.
Yeah.
Another bad like reset time.
Yeah, that is a walk in the park in comparison to the difficulty of this. That's easy. If you're confident in that, that's all good and stuff. But yeah, coming to this, it's like people kind of go into this with the expectation of, I'm not going to be getting this on every run, but I just need to get one run. That's right. That's all that matters sometimes with PBs. You just need that one run. So yeah, that's yeah, that's all of the stuff in Templar Droplets shown off. So, yeah, Ocarina Boost. So, yeah, this was a fairly more recently discovered glitch. Again, discovered by Solidified. Yeah, it's you can use it on any enemy. That's kind of like the caveat is that we need to have an enemy, and then you can just go up to the enemy, shield off of it, and use the ocarina one frame later. You can kind of like slide with it. So we're over in Vale Falls at the moment. There's a locked door above us. In order to be able to get through this locked door, we need to complete the graveyard. Now, this is the whole section that's completely skipped in the any percent speedrun. We'd never go to the graveyard or here because we can just skip directly to the next dungeon. But if we wanted to come here, we would have to do the graveyard. But then this was discovered. If you do an ocarina boost into an Eslo trigger, you get ocarina glitch. If you can understand what that word salad
you said
means.
It's like one frame though?
It's frame perfect, yep. If you use the ocarina a frame early, you just play the ocarina and don't move. If you press it a frame late, you don't play the ocarina and you just slide. You get recoiled back with the shield normally. So, yeah, there's an Eslo trigger here. So when we walk into it, Eslo will stop us and talk to us. So let's trigger it with the Eslo, with the ocarina boost. So we slid into it. And kind of like, yeah, we've got ocarina glitch right now.
Wow,
We can't pause until we pick up until we get some other text box appear. So we go and pick up that art piece, and it lets us pause. So now we can equip the mitts. We're going to dig into this cave here. We're going to come and dig onto that spot just to mark it as like a safe position for us to be. And we did a roll as well, because when we roll, the game updates what tiles we're on, even though we've got the ocarina glitch active. So when we exit the cave, we're going to drown. And it's going to respawn us at our last safe coordinate, which was in the cave at that coordinates. So it's going to move us up by that amount. We just got stuck inside of this this block here. And the easy way to get out of this block is by using the cape and just doing a hop.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. You can do some other stuff, like you can get the rock breaker from the dojo in town. And then if you do a sword slash, the slash will break the rocks that you're in and you'll get out. If you don't have either of those two items, I'm pretty sure this is a soft lock and you can't actually get out. So, but yeah. This gets us up to this section by passing that door, and now we can come up to Vale Falls without using the going to the graveyard first, which provides a nice alternative route for us. We've got the ocarina glitch still active, so we can walk up this wall without climbing up it because it doesn't update what tiles we're on. Yeah, we can activate the wind crest, and yeah, now we have access to this whole area, which is quite cool.
Gotcha. Nice.
This discovery allowed for an optional category to be made. So we have a ROM called the NG Plus ROM. We just start the game with all of the items. If we start with all of the items, we can actually do the dungeons in reverse order. So when this got discovered, we can go to Dark Coral Castle, then we can go to Palace, and then we can go to Templar Droplets, and we can go and do all of the dungeons in reverse order.
Okay, that's cool.
Having started with all of the items already. So,
right.
But yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet. I like that. So how many category extensions are there for Minish Cap then right now?
This one isn't actually on the board because no one's done an RTA run of it.
It's just
I believe Kato has done a LOTAD to demonstrate that it's possible. Or at least that if they haven't done it, they are doing it. But so category extensions, we have NG plus all dungeons, which is doing all the dungeons with all of the items. That's about 50 minutes. It's a little bit just under. I think 47 is what the current record is on that at the moment. And then the other miscellaneous category is Fire Rod, the Fire Rod category, which I showed a little bit of it last time. But really, it's too much of a completely different thing that deserves its own explanation in a completely different setting. I've got a 3-hour explanation of what Fire Rod does, but it lets us walk through walls and stuff like that I showed in the previous demonstration, in the previous showcase. So they're the two main category extensions we have, but we also have a individual level leaderboard. So we do all of the dungeons just isolated and have times for those. We only added this recently, so there's not many runs populated on it yet. I plan to do one of every single dungeon and every single category.
Ooh, okay.
As like demonstrations of what it should look like. So, graveyard. We've got a couple of things that we can show in the graveyard. A couple little quick things. So we can use we can do a little Luigi's Mansion here. We can play the we can use the let me turn off the hitboxes. We can use the gust jar to suck up the ghosts, and that normally kills them. But if we're extremely unlucky and we walk into one of the genies when we whilst we're sucking it up, this happens.
Oh. That's so awkward.
Yeah, Link just it gets this is a soft lock. We can pause to save and quit, but otherwise that's it's a soft lock that you don't want to happen. So if we so in the graveyard we would normally go through we would go through the Lost Woods and then we would come to Danpei's hut. And we come and get the graveyard key from Danpei so that we can get into the graveyard. Now, when we leave, it's going to trigger a cutscene that a bird comes and flies and knocks the key out of our hands. Now, the thing is, that triggers as long as you've got the graveyard key in your possession. As soon as we talk to Danpei, we got the graveyard key in our inventory. So no matter where we enter the outside, it's going to trigger this cutscene. So we're going to do a save and quit. One of the things I did before coming into the graveyard is that there is an Eslo trigger right by the entrance of the graveyard. I completely avoided it and went and talked to Danpei anyway. So the Eslo trigger is still there. So here at the entrance, there is an Eslo trigger just to the left of us. But because we entered in with the graveyard, the bird is going to fly from the tree to us and knock the key out of our hands. But it gets interrupted by Eslo, the Eslo trigger text box. So we can keep going and we keep the graveyard key. I think if we go to Lost Woods, it's going to trigger again when we go through the other way. But anyway, if we come over to here, we leave and re-enter. It still thinks, we haven't done the whole bird knocks the key out of Link's hand, so it's going to try and do it again. But we're going to do it from the very left here. Mm-hmm. The bird has to fly really far, by the way. It's like coming from that tree. So it knocked Link into the wall here.
Oh, wall. Okay.
Oh yes, sorry, the tree. It is a tree. So you can see Link's hitbox there is like inside the tree at the moment. And then it will just pop us out after the cutscene has played. And then it's just normal behavior from this point. We would go and save we would go and get the graveyard key. And then make our way into the graveyard. So when we go through the graveyard, we get like a mini dungeon called Royal Crypt. So there's not anything too crazy in Royal Crypt, except for a bunch of rooms that are unused. So what I did here is all I've done is I've gone to the very end of a Royal Crypt. Royal Crypt's only a few, only like 2 or 3 rooms long, so it's very short. I'm on layer 2 at the moment, so if I just pull up the collision and pull up layer 2 collision, so you can see that like I'm on layer 2 at the moment. I can walk through the walls and everything. If I come over to the top of the screen here and I touch the edge of the screen, we load this room. This is a room you'd never see in the game normally.
Yeah. Does not look familiar.
No. Yeah, this is an unused room that we've never seen before.
Huh.
And if we go over to the right, here is another room. So these are just like little unused rooms that, yeah. Let's turn the collision off. So yeah, there's a chest there. I can't get down onto layer 1 to open this chest, but this chest, it does contain a blue kinstone.
But you could interact with the pot?
Yeah, yeah, I'm on layer 2 at the moment, so we can grab pots and stuff from layer 1 and bring them up onto layer 2. Big deal. To get them.
Right spot. Gotcha.
I'm pretty sure that these are... these spawn in some way, somehow. I think these might be like-likes, I'm not too sure. But when we go down to the bottom here, it triggers the transition back to this room. And this is the last room of the dungeon. So yeah, those are just 2 unused rooms in Royal Crypt that they're just located there in the top left corner of the room, and they're kind of like stuck on top of each other. So it's really weird how they kind of like overlap weirdly. But yeah, those are. There is a completely different region that has beta rooms for Royal Crypt, that there is no way to access that unless you change your room memory data to warp to that room. Yeah, all of the dungeons have beta rooms that are fun to explore if you can, if you want to.
If you want to
change the memory addresses to warp you to those areas, but they're not accessible through regular gameplay. And also, these rooms aren't accessible through regular gameplay. All I did was I changed my layer and then walked to there.
Gotcha.
We don't actually have a way of getting onto layer 2 here.
Oh, you don't? Okay, I was going to say, like, what? I mean, in the future, you
so this isn't possible, but I wanted to show it. So
right, and it's not like they're going to have anything really useful for the run anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So there's one little funny thing that we can do with the lantern that I didn't show before. I think we might show a little bit more with the lantern in a bit, but the lantern's very weird when you activate it just when something else is happening. So if we void out just as we're activating the lantern, we kind of like get the like into a weird animation like that. It depends on what Link's facing direction is. If we face right, like Link stays locked in, frozen into the lantern animation for a while. If we face up, it kind of like breaks out of it instantly.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I think if we face down, it will lock us in for a while. And like we're pressing directions and stuff, and it has to wait for an animation to play until we get control of Link again.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a bit weird. Nothing too useful. So I think we can jump ahead now to Palace of Winds. This is the second to last dungeon.
Ooh, we're getting close.
So, oh, here we go. So, one of the first things we do in the dungeon is we just get the cape on the first floor. And then when we come up onto the second floor, we jump up the clouds here. Normally we would do a little, we would use the cape to jump to a platform that's just off screen to the bottom and just do a skip to skip a bunch of rooms to the right. These are the rooms that you're intended to go to in a regular gameplay, and we're just going to go over to there. Because in the past, there was a glitch that was discovered in this room that let us skip having to get the bracelets in town earlier in the run, and it saved a lot of time. But this trick is also frame perfect, and people didn't really like doing it.
Fair.
We eventually discovered other stuff to not have to do this, and it's even faster to do the other stuff, so we do that. But I want to show these anyway, because these are kind of cool. So this is called a cutscene ocarina glitch. That's just a little trick there where we're going to activate all those switches without having to create clones.
That's cool.
We're going to damage down to low health. We want to be one hit away from dying. We're going to kill these guys. Now, when these guys die, it triggers a cutscene for the doors to open. Now, if we press the ocarina, the frame the cutscene starts, we get ocarina glitch. Now, this is way harder to do because the cutscene just activates on its own. It's not like ocarina glitch off the doorway where you can control when you walk into the doorway and then activate the ocarina right after. This is, they're both frame perfect tricks, but this one you have no control over when you press the frame perfect input. You just have to try and nail a frame perfect input. So we do it there. Now, when we get the ocarina glitch, time is frozen, so the door doesn't open. What we're going to do is we're going to roll into the void, and that's going to kill Link. We would normally respawn if we didn't have critical health. If we had just a regular amount of health, if we rolled there, we would void out, respawn, and softlock, and we literally can't do anything. We can't control Link, can't pause, nothing. But if we die, we trigger a cutscene, which is Link respawning, and then that ends up initiating the other cutscene to play, and now we have ocarina glitch, and we can walk around in the dungeon. One of the things we can do is we can walk over all of the floor, because that's one of the things that we can do with the ocarina glitch. So we're going to walk up this staircase here. That's going to raise us up onto layer 2. Now we can walk over the top of the walls as well. So we're going to dash over to this spot over here. One of the things with Palace of Winds is the dungeon is kind of like really complicated for like people get confused a lot. Sorry. The dungeon is structured into like 2 halves. The first half is you're on the outside of the tower, and you're like going around the outside of it to get to the very top. And then at the halfway point is when you're at the very top of the dungeon. You drop down to the middle, or at the bottom, inside the tower, and then you climb up the inside of the tower to get to the top. It's like how I like to imagine the dungeon. So what we've done is on each layer, you can skip from the outside section to the inside section. So you skip from the first half to the second half and back. So it's quite easy to be able to go back and forth and collect stuff like a small key. So we came over to this section to get a small key. And we're just going to keep abusing the ocarina glitch here by going through this section here. So we're going to roll up over here, and we're going to drop it down to here, because this chest here also has a small key. Now, when we fell down to the floor below, this is the very bottom floor. But in the second half.
Weird.
We lost ocarina glitch by falling down, but luckily there's a staircase there, so we can get the ocarina glitch again. And this is like a dark room as well, but we're gonna get onto layer 2 there on that staircase. We're gonna leave out the top of this room, and this section here is the outside section on the floor 1 that we started from. So we managed to do like a little loop and collect 2 small keys. And this is going to let us completely avoid having to get having to collect small keys in the next section, which one of them requires the power bracelet, because there's some locked doors that we have to open.
Gotcha.
So yeah, this is Dream Jump. This is the thing that I mentioned before, where we jump onto the portal. Sorry, on the platform.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that skips the entirety of that floor where we showed where we were fighting those spiked beetles or whatever. So here's another trick discovered by Solidified. This is called Stair Clip. If I turn on our collision viewer, you can... okay, so we're going to be voiding out here with the bow, but that's not super important.
Okay.
The voiding out was just a sub-pixel setup so that this actually works because it's incredibly precise.
Oh.
But if you look at the stairs, if we remove layer 1 collision and just look at layer 2, because we're on layer 2 at the moment, there is no layer 2 block there on the corner. Like I've just to the right of this this flame lantern that we're pointing the arrow to, there's just there's just like nothing there. So there's no wall to stop us from being able to just dash like that and stay on layer 2 and avoid touching the stairs to go down to like get pushed down to layer 1. But again, it's extremely precise. It's multiple layers of like sub-pixel precise. So we had to do a special setup there to be able to get that to work correctly. And yeah, this is where we would then like do more out of bounds movement and stuff and go around to the we skip a whole puzzle here. This is a puzzle where we would have to shrink as Minish, push a bunch of pots. That's why we need the power bracelets.
Oh, right.
When you're Minish, you can push pots if you've got the power bracelets to give you more strength. And that lets you get to this room, and then you can get a small key. So normally that small key is used to open the locked door here that we were about to go to. There's a locked door on just on the left-hand side of this room. Yeah, there. But we don't want to waste a small key on this door when we can do a glitch to skip it. So
why would you waste it?
yeah. Here we're going to do Werble Hop, which if you remember back to part 1, if you jump out of a hole holding a diagonal direction, like this, you have diagonal angle retention. So the game thinks that you're facing a diagonal angle right now when you're not supposed to be. You can only face up, down, left, or right. But we're facing diagonally now. We're going to use the shield to lock that direction in and walk into the hole, preserving this this diagonal angle retention. We use the cane to shoot into the hole. This gives us a spring jump. Now, the spring jump combined with the diagonal angle retention is what we call Werble Hop. It gives a diagonal spring jump. So we jump out of bounds diagonally and just do a little pause there to equip more items. Yeah, and we're now on layer 2 because there was this only works because there's that one little tile there that doesn't have collision. Where the purple, just in between those purple walls.
Right.
If that was like, if they filled that in, this wouldn't work.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And using that, we get to skip that locked door and just jump up to the next floor.
That was so fast. Okay.
Yeah. So Palace is a really fun dungeon. There's so many things that are just stuff we've seen before a little bit, but just applying it to a new situation. And it's kind of like Palace is like a montage of all of the cool stuff in the game, just in rapid succession. It's really fun. So this is the very top floor of the dungeon. We kill these chain soldiers to get a small key. Now, what happens when we kill the enemies is it triggers a cutscene. And as we saw earlier in the dungeon, if we kill enemies to trigger a cutscene, we can do a cutscene ocarina glitch off of that. So we're going to play the ocarina. The frame, the cutscene plays, and it kind of froze time. So we're going to leave the room and come back to stop the time freeze from continuing. So time's playing like normal and it's going to play the cutscene of like dropping the key. And now we've got the ocarina glitch. So ocarina glitch means we can walk over void. So we're going to come over to here and we're going to skip all of the fights and stuff on this section of the dungeon and dash around to here. And we're going to open this small key. It's very important when we do a screen transition with Ocarina Glitch is that when we do the transition, the first tile that we stand on still needs to be valid. We can't just, touch the edge of the screen here in the middle and try and transition, because when we transition, it's going to detect that as void and we're going to void out. So, for example, if I just go like this, we just end up voiding out and then we're soft locked.
Oh, yeah, because you'll just keep doing that.
Yeah, so that's why we go down to that doorway at the bottom of the screen there.
Gotcha. So now we have 4 keys, or your
yeah. So all we would now do is just grab the boss key that is located in the. We have way more small keys than we need, by the way. I've just been showing all of the small keys that we can get, but we have way more than we need. We would open a locked door, get a big chest, and it's got a big key. And with the big key, like we saw in Temple of Droplets, if you when we did with the boomerang. We could open the boss door with the boomerang active, and we kind of like walk through out of bounds, and it doesn't trigger us into the next room. We're going to do the same thing, but we can use a lantern instead, which is another cool thing. Like these are the only 2 items that we figured out that is going to work with this. But yeah, we can use lantern or magic boomerang to be able to do this. So we do a screen transition to the right. It pops us up onto layer 2, and now that we're on layer 2, we can like walk over the top of all the walls and everything. And because we're on the top floor, we're on the same floor as where the boss is. And instead of having to do all of the second half of the dungeon, we just go directly to the boss.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we can just do the fight. I haven't shown off any boss fights in this because there's not really anything crazy we can show off in boss fights in this showcase, but.
That's okay. I mean, I feel like it'd be better to just go ahead and do the last section instead. You know, still have a little bit more to see. So
yeah. So we are going to go to the final dungeon, Dark Harrow Castle. So at the beginning of Dark Harrow Castle, there's a glitch which we can show off called cutscene walking. So there is an ESLO trigger just below us here. If we trigger a cutscene to start playing and then walk into the ESLO trigger at the same time, normally this cutscene would lock Link in place, and we would have to wait until these cutscenes for the unpetrifying the soldiers and everyone would end, and then we would regain control of Link. But instead, because we cancelled the first one with the ESLO trigger, we can regain control of Link and keep walking. And we're like chaining it back to back. So we're using the previous one opening a text box to then cutscene walk the next one. And we just chain these back to back, and it's not super interesting, but it saves something like 11 seconds in the speed run if we can chain all of those. It's not too difficult. We just look for a lineup and then just hold directions. So we showed off the stair clip in the previous dungeon. There's only 2 locations in the game. In the entire game, I looked at every single staircase in the game to try and find these. Only 2 that have the collision required to be able to do a stair clip. The one we saw in Palace of Winds, the other one's here in Dark Harrow Castle.
Interesting.
So we're gonna do it here. So here we're gonna do exactly the same thing. We're gonna kind of line up at a very specific spot, and then we do a dash here, and then we stay on layer 2. And we got layer 2 collision at the moment. This lets us skip having to go down to the basement. We're currently locked in the basement. We would have to go and save the king, and the king gives us a small key to get out of the basement and get to the main section of the dungeon. But we're just going to ignore that and do this clip out, and we are going to climb up these staircases, and we're now in the main section of the dungeon.
Nice. Okay, cool.
There's one little cool strat here that we do in Dark Harrow Castle. This is called the cannon strat, or cannonless, some people like to call it.
Minish Cap has their very own cannonless.
Yeah, there's these 4 cannons in this room that we're supposed to create clones to be able to knock all the cannons back in one go. But we're going to use a perfectly timed bomb explosion with a sword slash to break all of them.
Oh, wow. Sweet.
And that saves 10 seconds because there's a ESLO interrupts us when we're trying to create the clones and explains to us, oh, maybe you can use the clones to solve this puzzle. Thank you, ESLO, for telling us the solution. So yeah, at this point, we would get Ocarina Glitch and do a lot of stuff in Dark Horror Castle, going out of bounds and collecting small keys. And when we do that, we eventually get to this section of the dungeon. So what I'm going to do here is show only layer 1, I believe. No, oh, that is the wrong layer that I removed. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. So I removed layer 2 so we can see what's going on. What we're doing here is we're getting Ocarina Glitch, and we're coming over to this doorway on the left here. Now, the other side of this doorway, there is a locked door. Oh, there's like a closed door. So if we try and walk through it normally, there's just like a door blocking us. So we can't get to the other side of the doorway.
Okay.
But what we're doing here is we're coming to this spot here. That's 1 tile away from the edge of the screen. We're pressing B to, we're using the cape to do a cape jump. And it kind of like clips us into the doorway. The only reason why we can do this is because we've got the Ocarina Glitch active. You can't normally jump inside of a doorway, but with Ocarina Glitch active, the game thinks that we're on a regular floor, not inside of a doorway. So we can jump, we hold left, and we trigger a screen transition. Now, this tile that we currently stood on is a wall. It's like a special wall where the tile to the left of us is a ledge tile. So we can press left, and we trigger just a jump, and we jump back into bounds.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And we can skip that doorway. Now, that's not the only doorway that is like we can come to the back side of it. This one's exactly the same.
Oh, okay. So you just do the same thing.
So we just do exactly the same thing. Now, this one's a little bit harder to see what's going on when we have the collision view like normal. It's very easy to see when we remove the door frame so we can see underneath what's going on. Otherwise, this is completely blind. And it's quite tricky to do. So this has caused some issues for some runners sometimes. It takes some practice, and then you eventually get used to timing the right, like walking blind and then jumping correctly. And then, yeah, we jump back into bounds there.
That's cool.
So,
okay, so
we
you do that
continued the
twice.
dungeon. We continued the dungeon for a bit, and then we get to the mini boss at the middle of the dungeon, which is the Black Knight. So there's this cool little setup that I do, where we pin it against the wall and kill it.
Oh, so fast.
Yeah, pinning it against the wall, we just like rhythmically time slashes and we just kill it super fast. Those Black Knights are one of the hardest, if not the hardest, regular enemy that you're going to fight in the whole game. They can really wreck you. They're so hard to fight. Even for experienced speedrunners, we have to spend so much time practicing Dark Nuts. But yeah, again, we're killing an enemy in a room, and there's a cutscene that triggers at the end of it. So we're going to do a cutscene Ocarina Glitch. So we play the Ocarina. So when we use the Ocarina to trigger the Ocarina Glitch, like that's all great and everything. We got the Ocarina Glitch. But the thing is, time's frozen, so none of the doors open. So we're kind of like stuck here. We can't pause. So we need to play the Ocarina to cancel the Ocarina Glitch that we got.
Okay.
And when we unpause, we get 1 frame that we can pause.
Oh, that's tight. Okay.
Yeah, this is TAS only, except for I accidentally recorded this first try yesterday.
Oh, yesterday?
Like this whole thing. Yesterday, I was just finishing off this, and I was recording this. This is my recording. I did this one take. I didn't have to do any task stuff to do the frame perfect inputs. I just got it first try, and I was like,
wow,
I can't
can we
believe that.
like get some claps, cheers, snaps, something in the chat? That's awesome. Holy moly.
So yeah, we do a save and quit, and we load back into the dungeon, and
Wow.
the blue warp is activated, and we can go through the blue warp, and we can come to here. Now, we just completely skipped a cutscene. The cutscene in question is, if we just do the, we're going to do the same thing, but I'm just messing around with some gesture thing here. Yeah, if we play the ocarina with the ocarina glitch, but we're stood directly on the portal, we get some weird stuff happening. So, like, this is the cutscene that's going to play. It's going to be a cutscene of all of the darkness spawning. So this is what we managed to skip by doing that. Yeah, this cutscene plays really weirdly when we go onto the portal at the same time. That darknet chases after us for some reason. Now, the reason why I came back to show this cutscene as well is that we can use some items whilst we're riding the portal to leave because we've just come out of a cutscene. It's quite weird, but like, we get control of Link and we can use some items whilst we're flying away on the portal. So here we're going to do a roll, kind of like. We get the spinning of like the portal, changing Link's angle as he's rolling, which is quite cool.
So weird. Okay.
We're just going to show you a bunch of different items here. So that's the Gust Jar. It kind of like just plays, it like spins around in a really buggy way. The cape's quite cool. Kind of like do like a little ballerina spin around as we jump.
That's adorable.
The boots is quite cool. It kind of like dashes.
Yeah, and then like disappear. That's cool. That's like it's like when you teleport in Earthbound. You like run really fast and you spin in a circle and then you dash off screen.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the mitts. We got the lantern.
Oh wow.
The lantern's special and actually continues to the next room.
That's cool.
Like it deploys here. That's the only item that seems to do that. The bow is kind of interesting. The animations are, like I'm trying to activate the bow as early as possible, and it just fires the arrow before it loads the next room.
Gotcha. But it's like the arms are trying to like reach out, like you're doing a pirouette.
Yeah. There's the bottle. Here's a cane. It fires a cane shot. Depending on exactly the right timing that you do with the cane shot, it will fire the cane in a different direction because we're spinning around. It's like frame perfect spinning. We did a bottle swinging thing. We can do a bottle drinking. The bottle drinking is a bit hard to see, but if we slow it down, like the bottle is like wiggling in Link's hand as it eventually then despawns. The shield, like, kind of doesn't. It kind of like wiggles around with the shield for a bit. Boomerang does fire, and Link's kind of like running, swinging around, throwing it. Funny. Bombs. We can pick up a bomb, and then we get back. And then finally, we've got the sword slash.
Oh, that's funny.
So here I'm actually like frame perfectly mashing sword button there to like slashing really quickly.
You almost look like a ceiling fan.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So we've got a couple more things left to show. So I guess this is just more of the stuff that we saw with back in Templar Droplets when we did the Octo clip with pushing the pot after we die. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to push this block as we die. So yeah, just so you can see, is it layer 2? No, it's layer 1. And we'll give ourselves the hitbox as well. So as we push it, like it was solid, and then as soon as it starts playing the cutscene, it becomes solid again. But now what we're going to do, as it's going up, we're going to go to the staircase. We're going to get Ocarina Glitch. So the Ocarina Glitch lets us, like, again, time frozen. We don't get pushed by objects at all.
Weird.
If we cancel the Ocarina Glitch, it's going to turn solid and push us.
Push us out. So now we're on the other side. That's cool.
Yeah. So this is kind of like almost exactly the same as what we saw with the Octo clip, but just showing that we can do it with any pushable thing anywhere that we could get Ocarina Glitch or for example, in Temple Droppers, we use the Ocarina boost to push us through the object.
Cool.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
kind of hard to find places to be able to do this, but that's just showing that off again.
Right.
But yeah, that's all of the stuff in Dark Horror Castle. We've got about 2 or 3 other. Oh wait, no, sorry, we've got one more thing to show off in Dark Horror Castle.
Okay.
The speedrunners would not let me down if I didn't show this off. I'm just going to show this.
What? Wait. What? Wait.
So these are these are 3 fake genies and then 1 real one. So we got the real ones coming over here. So we kill it, and then we roll. And at the very end of the roll, the last frame of our roll movement, we have really high speed. Like we have 3.5 times the regular walking speed on the last frame of the roll. That same frame, this genie's grabbing us and unloading because it's being killed.
Oh.
And it just preserves our momentum and we just get flung.
Ah, that's very funny.
So some runners have done this accidentally in runs. Shout outs to Darky Squid, they got this in a run and she had saved a clip of it. So now we can know how it works and like replicate it.
So now we can see it, right? Exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of like the last thing I've got to show for you in Dark Horror Castle. We got some more stuff in the overworld, and then we got a special surprise at the end.
And then one.
Yeah, just only a couple more.
Right.
We should have enough time to get through everything.
Yeah, we got like, what do you think? Like 10 more minutes, or?
Yeah, probably.
Great. Okay, let's do it.
So, sorry, not that. Yeah, let's go back over to the overworld. Yeah, so this is, remember what we were doing when we went to town and we had the, oh yeah, by the way, visual warning again, things are going to go really weird. We're doing something very similar. We're going back to this this broken out of bounds area. This time, we are going to be into a dig cave. There's a dig cave right here, and we're going to go into it. And let's just see how this goes. So the game is currently lagging right now.
Oh.
Every other frame is lag.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know, this looks normal to me.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this, right? And the room's loaded, but no, I kind of gave up. We've got control. We can like walk around and stuff. We can, yeah. Oh yeah, we've got Shadow Link because we're in a parallel universe.
That's awesome.
So we can't interact with anything because we're just Shadow Link.
You can just use the claw and that's it. Claws or whatever.
Yeah.
Gloves.
But that is mainly the entering the room and the game's struggling incredibly to be able to load things properly.
So weird.
There's an insane amount of lag that's going on there. So,
oh my gosh, that one's cool.
So,
all right, what else?
one of the things that we discovered recently, when Haley made the entity viewer, we decided to run around to explore with it and see if we can see stuff. And we were walking around in the in Lake, and then we realized that there were these hitboxes. There's this purple hitbox inside that tree. We're like, what's that?
Oh, weird.
So it's purple because it's on layer 2. So what I've done is I've raised myself up to layer 2.
Wait, just that one thing is on layer 2?
Yeah, if you... so there's actually 4 of these. We can't gain access to this one. But let's come over to here. And you can see, it's a choo-choo.
Oh my gosh.
They're all choo-choos.
What?
So we're going to go around and see... as far as I'm aware, no one has ever seen these choo-choos before. I've seen this one before. I haven't seen the other one, so we're going to go and explore them. I've killed this one before. I've not killed the other ones, so we're going to do a first ever... I killed that guy, but when we kill the other ones over in this section here... Oh yeah, there's this guy here. We're going to kill this guy for the first time ever. No human has ever killed this choo-choo in the history of Minish Cap.
Till now.
Until now.
What?
And there's another one over here.
Why are they here?
They're just like left over. The devs forgot about them. But we won't. Oh, that one dropped a rupee.
Yay, you got 1 rupee. That's so weird.
So that's a first. And
So weird.
yeah, so that's all I have to show in game. Now we've got the most recent discovery that has been found. So let me hop that switch that over now. So we're going to be showing off a clip. This clip is from 2 years ago. This was an unsolved mystery.
But it's been solved.
Yeah, we figured out what's going on with this. So let me pull this up.
So exciting. We're getting brand new information, everyone.
Yeah. So here we go. Okay. So shout outs to Session. They're a runner of both Minish Cap and they also do Super Mario 64. They were doing a glitchless speedrun about 2 years ago, and then this happened.
Wait, I can't see it.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be able to like do the big wow.
You need to be able to see this.
I feel like I should, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
Here you go. Right, let's press play.
What?
What is going on there?
But the wall just the whole wall just okay, sure.
If we break down exactly what happened, this Keaton hit Link. It dropped a bunch of rupees on the ground. Then we collect one of the rupees as the bomb explodes to load in a new entity. So these doorways, like the tops of the doorways, are their own objects, and they're just like pots or rupees or anything like that. It just so happened that this, because of the bomb explosion, just random happenstance, the when this loaded in, it happened to occupy exactly the same memory slot that the rupee that just got picked up by Link had. So
that's awesome. That's so
if anyone
random.
is aware of what it might be, I'd like to see if anyone can give a quick guess as to what they think this might be. It's quite a well-known glitch. If anyone's seen Ocarina of Time speedruns, they might be able to name this.
Oh, to name it?
So it's where the properties of one object get given to another object because it gets unloaded, and then the new object gets loaded in on the frame after.
Not SRM?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it's almost like I had OT on the show.
So, welcome to my... Oh, sorry. Oh, here we go. Welcome to my slideshow presentation on the basics of what SRM is. This is going to be really quick.
Okay, I was
this is... Apologies to all of the Ocarina of Time experts that are going to, this is going to be, it's a little bit wrong, but it's just enough to be able to explain what's going on with Minish Cap.
Yeah, just a real quick, run through. Sure.
So, what's going on in Ocarina of Time is, here's a white bar that's going to represent what memory looks like. So, we're going to populate it with objects. So, all of these colored boxes are just different objects. They take up different amounts of size and space and fit into different spots. So if we unload, for example, the blue object and we empty the space that originally was there, and we're going to load a different object in the same space. So it's going to occupy this spot here.
Yeah. Right.
Now, objects in these games have a start coordinate, which is going to be the left-hand edge of the box. And then they have what's known as an offset, where they count a certain number of addresses along, and then they go, okay, I've counted 20 along. So this means that I am now at the data value that's going to represent the X coordinate that this object's supposed to be in this room, or the Y coordinate, or the sprite, or all of the information that describes an object is stored in this way. Now, if we look at a very specific spot, we are going to realize that the specific memory address, overall in the grand scope of things, when we're looking over a raw memory address, for the blue object, it was representing something way further down in its properties than what the pink object is. So at one point, an address was doing something like holding an X coordinate, and now it's holding something like a cutscene pointer or something like that. That's what Ocarina of Time exploits by one frame. Like if there's this is the whole point of stale reference manipulation. It's stale. It's old data. It's because it's happening a frame apart. It doesn't have time to wipe the memory clean and go zeros on everything, and then start using fresh data. It starts using stale data, data that it's not supposed to. So the whole thing with like Ocarina of Time and what makes it special is that you can change property X, and it will in the blue object, your first object, and it will change property Y, a completely different kind of property, in the new object that gets loaded in, which is really powerful. It gives you a load of control over what you can do. Now, what happens in Minish Cap? In Minish Cap, memory is a little bit different. If we bring up a bar here, Minish Cap, objects can't just like freely fit into whatever slot is available.
Okay.
They have to fit into specific blocks. So memory is going to be divided up into these blocks like this.
Okay.
So let's fill these with objects. So we got the red, green, and blue objects. Let's unload the blue object, and then we're going to load in a pink object instead. So the pink object is loaded into the same slot as the blue object. Now, when we look at a specific memory address, no matter what happens, the pink, like a specific address is always going to be the same offset for its object as what it was for any other object. So the property, that address for the blue object is the same property as the pink object.
Right. So the rupee and the wall.
Yeah. So if we, for example, if the rupee was the blue object and the wall was the purple or the pink object, the coordinates for the rupee got transported onto the coordinates for the wall. So the wall went to the rupee coordinates.
So interesting. It's so weird. It did that.
Now, this means it's for Minish Cap, it's not as powerful as, for example, Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
In Ocarina of Time, they can make the use coordinates to tell the game to load a cutscene.
Okay. Oh,
we
sure.
wouldn't be able to do that, but this was discovered last week by Solidified, so I don't know. I've not really explored this too much myself. SRM is extremely complicated, so
and it's super new in a way. In a sense,
it's brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anyone has any information or any knowledge about looking through and managing and manipulating this stuff, you have a great opportunity to have a look at Minish Cap and be able to make the same kind of, or maybe not quite as great progress as like Ocarina of Time. And this is definitely promising in this early stage of being able to do something strong. We've had some demonstrations. So we've been able to transport the bounce property of a rupee onto a bomb.
Ooh, interesting.
So, and we've done some theory crafting, and we've been able to do stuff like giving changing how what kind of item we're picking up when we pick up an item. So by manually editing some values, we've been able to pick up items like the Force Sword or any item in the item list that we want off of the floor. But still, these are just like theoretical stuff, and just more understanding. We're going to be able to discover more and more. But yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. All right. Are we wrapping up? Did we cover it all?
Yep, that's everything.
Oh my
gosh. We got everything done.
We did it! It just took 2 shows, but I knew we could come back and do it. I'm so glad we were able to make the time. This has been really, really cool.
Yeah, thank you so much. There's just been so much cool stuff to show off here in Minish Cap. It's I'm glad to have been able to show it. And preparing for this, I rediscovered some stuff that I hadn't quite seen before. And I was like, this is so awesome. I'm putting this in.
Dude, and like you said, there was a thing you recorded literally yesterday that you said is just supposed to be tasks. Like it's not supposed to be RTA viable, and you did it yesterday.
Yeah, like, when I do these recordings, I just I do it playing the game, and then I touch some things up by pausing it and then doing single frame like input adjustments.
Right.
So I kind of like draw the broad strokes with a controller, and then like come and touch up the fine details with the task tools. Which is my approach to doing tasking.
So cool. That's super cool.
Yeah, I didn't have to touch it up. It just worked.
Just worked. I can't believe it. That's awesome. I heard that apparently there are new strats trying to be implemented into carpet lists, by the way, to make that RTA viable, which is wild.
Yes. Yeah, we've. That's extremely exciting. Seeing the new setup that avoids doing the butt slide as well.
I know, exactly. Anyway, we're back to Zelda for a second, and back to you. This has been super cool. Thank you so much for coming back on, for giving us the rest of this breakdown explanation. It's been super cool. I'm so glad we were able to get everything in, and you've done an awesome job. Like, clearly, you know what you're talking about. I love how excited you are about it. And you all, please, watching right now, go give Myth some love. Please follow Myth. Like, you can tell that like his passion is there, and he's doing so many things. And if you want to see all of these like glitches and things like in action, and like now that you've seen the whole breakdown, you can like see it in action in runs and understand what's going on. Go drop him a follow. Go like subscribe to him on YouTube. Can you tell us like what you're working on, what you're doing? Like it's been a month. Like catch us up with what's been going on lately, and then again where everybody can follow you and find you.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, I've been doing a couple of the individual level, individual dungeon speedruns. So we just like take one dungeon and start from the very beginning with the dungeon and do a speedrun of that. So they're only like 5 minutes long. It's very like bite-sized and easy to try and optimize that, which has been quite exciting. I haven't been able to dedicate super like loads of time and effort into doing that yet, which I plan to do eventually, but in the near future, next week, we're starting as the Minish Cap community is starting a special event called Gafferathon, where we are going back to the very first run, the very first route of the game.
Oh wow!
We've got our very own Quo, who is a veteran of this game, and he ran the game back in 2013, and he is going to be showing off the run that he used to do back then.
Oh, wow! Okay.
And every week after, we're going to be going to the next discovery and showing off how the game progressed up to present day. And it's going to take 7 weeks every weekend.
That's awesome. I love that. I love it. Just like seeing the run evolve, like literally seeing it evolve. I love that. That's really, really cool. So y'all need to go check that out, please. What are your social accounts? Like, tell us, is it Myth197 everywhere? Do you have like, what do you do?
Yeah,
where do you post the most?
I'm Myth197 everywhere on YouTube and Twitch.
Cool.
Yep, that's the 2 places I'm on.
Okay. So now you know where to go follow/subscribe to him. Yeah, please, you all go check out Myth. Watch like the run progression. That sounds so cool. And yeah, thank you again for being on twice in like the last month. I appreciate it. It's been super, super cool. Also, before we go, I just want to remind you all again, we will be at GDQX. GDQX is happening again at TwitchCon. There we go. That's the right way to put it. So you can check out like the games list and all of that. And then also, the submission periods have closed basically at this point for a GDQ. But so excited that that's going to be live again. And now it's going to be in Pittsburgh, which is really cool. So thank you all for, anybody who's wanted to submit, to volunteer, to run. Yay. I will see you there. You can always watch, our last Flame Fatales event, by the way. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you all are awesome as well. We love you. You can always check us out live. And thanks for joining us for another Zelda episode. I love having Zelda games on the show. They're like the perfect fit for the show. And Myth, you're awesome and you did an amazing job. So thank you so much. You all are fantastic. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you on the next episode with some more awesome games. Have a good night, everyone.
See ya.